Well, you can tell, Cole, we are getting down to the final couple of weeks until football is back. Not many people have a whole lot of real actionable information coming out of camp, because camps are really just getting started at most places, just a couple of days in. Most of the information that we do get is essentially coach speak, where everything is going great or everything is terrible and we don't know what we have. Dabo Swinney. But, Cole, we're in that kind of phase where we don't have yet a whole lot of solid information to discuss when it comes to college football or to base predictions on. So we're now in that time of the year where it's that last little throw of silly season. The odd discussions, the odd conversations that always seem to pop up. Kind of like, when you don't post on your Facebook page all that often anymore, but the only notifications you get are things that you posted 5, 6, 10, 15 years ago. We're kind of at that spot right now.
Yeah, it's fun because you said it, talking season, it does provide sometimes some interesting quotes, commentary, things like that. Mm-hmm. I think what I love most about this time of year when it comes to football season, especially college football, is you are seeing like reports of the camps you talked about. Now, to that point, I said yesterday, camps are glorified practices where you're playing against yourselves, and yeah, that's great, but you're not really learning like a whole lot in terms of, okay, well, first starting out against LSU in week 1, are we prepared against Clemson or are we prepared against LSU? That's the difference, right? So it's tough.
Yeah. And you're at that spot. How many more ways can you break down the thing that you ultimately don't know yet? Like, we don't know if LSU and Lane Kiffin can turn this giant crop of talent that they have into a really good football team in week 1. We just simply don't know that. We don't know if Sam Levitt's foot is really in the shape that Lane Kiffin says it is. We don't know if Christopher Vezina is really that much better than Tate Reynolds at this point. There's just a lot of things that we don't know, and we've already discussed these things a lot. So, again, you kind of get to that point of the season where, all right, now we're just going to have some fun for the next 2 weeks until football is finally back. And a conversation that for some reason always seems to pop up at this time of year, Cole, and it always drives fans crazy, is the conversation around gatekeeping fandom. Like, are you allowed to be a fan of a school if you didn't walk across the stage and you're not carrying a diploma from said school? There are people who believe that. I think it's a little short-sighted to limit it to just that, because then college football wouldn't be anywhere near the product that it actually is. If you had
only graduates allowed.
Yeah, only graduates, only grads. How about that?
That'd be tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's a dumb one, right?
People say that, though. Yeah. There are people that say that. This got started, Cole, and like I said, it happens every year. But I saw the conversation sort of kickstart by the account SEC Unfiltered and Chris Phillips, who we have on the show. He said, what's your honest opinion on people who say you can't be a fan unless you're an alum of the university? Which is a fairly innocuous question. But then it gets retweeted by another account called Jarhead Frog. And, thanks for people coming up with fun Twitter handles, who has just 803 followers, yet he retweets this comment. Now it's been seen 1.5 million times, and pundits from all over college football are grabbing a hold of this. And his comment was as such. And Tolos, let's get your reaction to this. He says there are 4 reasons you are allowed to cheer for a school. Number 1, you are an alum. Number 2, you live in the city or state of the school. Number 3, you worked at the school. And number 4, you have an immediate family that is an alum. If you don't have that, you are not allowed to be a fan.
Well, look, are there areas of that are true? Yeah, I don't disagree with all of them. Like, of course, you want your fans, you want your alums to be fans and continue to support the football program. You live in a city or the state of the school. I would say that's the most interesting one of the 4 reasons, because, like, for Clemson in South Carolina, most of the fans, I would say, live in the state. Most people, Diesel, who pull for Clemson in South Carolina grew up pulling for one of the two because they were born and raised in South Carolina. And if you're born and raised in South Carolina, you have to choose one of the two. So
got to.
I don't think, like, when you say, oh, you're only allowed to cheer on a school if you were born in the city or state, I think that's dumb. I think, to go big picture here, I think rules of fandom are dumb in the first place. I don't think there should be any rules per se to what team a person can pull for. If they want to pull for Washington State and live in Florida, let them pull for Washington State. It benefits Washington State in some way if they spend any kind of money. So I would gravitate mostly towards number 2 if I had to agree with any of the 4. But I think rules for fandom, I think they're dumb.
Well, this rule of fandom of you have to be an alum to be a fan is ass backwards, Cole. Instead of turning alums into fans, you need to figure out a way to turn fans into alums. Because fans, they go down to their local Walmart, they pick up a T-shirt of the school. Maybe they go to a game once every couple of seasons. You got to figure out, how do we turn that fan? How do we convert that fan that's spending maybe $50 a year or more, $100 a year if you include like the cable package to be able to watch your team, but the school doesn't get a ton of that? How do we convert that guy into somebody that we can make $40,000, $50,000 on as an alum of the school? Bring him on campus. That's where the real money is, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the goal, right? And that's why it goes back to what I just said. Having rules are dumb, because if you have rules, oh, well, you can't pull for us. Oh, we're building walls and borders around who can pull. That's just dumb. It's dumb. Why would you do that? Because like you said, if there are all these rules, that person may not go to that Kyle. I mean, it's just, look, it's great conversation for you and I to have. And like JB said, that he echoes what I said on YouTube. He says, that's dumb. If I want to be a fan of South Carolina or South Hawaii A&M and live in Duncan, South Carolina, I'll pull for them. And I agree. Like, it's pull for whoever you want to pull for. There are certain things that I don't like. For example, pulling for this team in football, this team in basketball. I don't love that. But in terms of who you're pulling for and where you live, I have no issue with it.
I will say this, Cole, and I agree with you in the sense that having rules or gatekeeping fandom saying you can't be a fan unless are dumb. You have every right, like JB says, like you said, you have every right to choose to be a fan of whoever you want. This is America. You could still do what you want to do. But I do believe, Cole, that there are tiers of fans.
Yeah.
I think there are fan tiers that are very easily seen. And like, if you are an alum, I think you are in a higher tier of fan than if you're not an alum.
Yeah.
And I just so happen to have one of those tier graphics that I just put up on the stream, Cole. A tier graphic. Let me take away the comment section here so people can see it on the stream. I think there are 5 tiers of fans. And I go by first ballot, second teamer, walk-on, bench warmer, and cut list. So I guess they only have 4 tiers of fans. And if you're in the cut list group, you're gone. You don't get to be a fan of that school anymore. So cut list fans, Cole. Cut list fans are the ones that went to another in-state school but never got over their own childhood fandom. By that, I mean, if you are a fan of Clemson and you went to Wofford, your ass better be a Wofford fan. You don't get to be a Clemson fan anymore.
See, I don't agree with that.
Why?
Because, like, I went to North Greenville, so I can't be a Clemson fan.
So that's like cheating on your girlfriend. That's cheating on your spouse. That's saying, I'm going to go do a little bit of this,
Division
but I
2,
really like more of that. They're not Division 2. That's
Who?
Disrespectful to Wofford.
No. I said I went to North Greenville. So I can only pull for North Greenville? That's the dumbest thing.
Die hard into North Greenville.
That is the dumbest thing.
They're not Crusaders anymore.
Trailblazers.
They're Trailblazers.
So I can't be a fan of a Division 1 team?
You can't.
That is the dumbest rule.
Not the same kind of fan.
Oh, that's dumb.
Not the same kind of fan.
You have reached an all-time
It's
dumbness.
a different kind of fandom. See,
I'm already done with this.
If you're gonna marry a woman, you devote yourself to that woman.
So you have to go to the school.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is you have to go to that school.
No, I'm saying you don't get to be a diehard fan of a school that you didn't go to. You don't get to be the diehard. Like, if you went to another school, think about it like this. There are people who are born and raised Ole Miss fans, but they go to Mississippi State because Mississippi State let them in.
That's a rival.
Or, well, that's not the point here. They go somewhere else. You go to Wake Forest when you grew up an East Carolina fan. They're not rivals, okay?
Yeah.
So that's when you have to change your mindset. That's when you have to stop playing the field. That's when you have to stop looking around and you say, damn it, I am a diehard Wake Forest Demon Deacon. I am no longer an East Carolina Pirate. That is not my life anymore.
No,
you got to leave it all behind.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. In the 3 years we've done this show.
I say a lot of dumb things on the show.
Dumbest. And
I'm saying a lot of dumb things on the show.
Dan says, whoa, Diesel, what happened to this America? Just root for who you want. Shane says, I went to UAB, so I can't be an Auburn fan, right? But multiple family members say that. There you go.
I say being an Auburn, being a UAB alum supersedes any family connections.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. Being a UAB Blazer is greater than being the family member, brother, sister, nephew, friend of an Auburn fan.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, I can only pull for North Greenville.
Then you're not getting the full college experience. You're not devoting yourself to the school that you went to.
Oh boy. Division II football for the rest of my life. I am just thrilled with that. Yeah. So I can't pull for a Division I team because I went to it.
You got to go pump them up and try to get them in the FCS.
Is saying I can't pull for a Division I team because I went to a Division II school.
Next rule.
I hope they're better than the other ones.
Next rule, your school stinks, so you just jump to a different bandwagon. You don't get to do that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Your program goes 0-10 for 5 straight years. You don't get to jump to another school just because they're good.
Yeah, I don't have
bandwagon fans. Cut. You're not on the list anymore. Bench warmers, and this graphic is up on our stream. Bench warmers, Cole. You just like the colors. Like you can kind of be a fan of a school if you just sort of like the colors, or if you got some free merch somewhere, but you don't get that. This is the lowest tier. This is the lowest tier of actual fandom. Lowest possible tier.
No, this one shouldn't even be on there.
You just like the colors.
No.
You got some free merch somewhere. We've all, as kids, we all got free merch somewhere. Or your old coach took the job somewhere else, so you follow your coach to a new school.
See, I think the lowest tier of fandom. I think bench warmer and cutlass should be swapped, because I think just because you like the colors doesn't mean you should be allowed to pull for
a lot of people that pick their NCAA brackets by the colors.
I mean, that is crazy. So I can't. So what you're saying is, so we're putting this out there. I can't pull for Clemson because I went to North Greenville. Right. But if I just like the color orange, I can pull for.
Hey, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of reasons to wear the color orange, right? You want to dress up like a traffic cone.
This is show 583, and we have reached an all-time dumbness on this show.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like the colors that you can pull for them.
Yeah. Well, it's the lowest. I'm telling you, it's the lowest tier of fandom. Lowest tier. Next tier.
Who made this list?
I made this list.
Oh,
I made this list. Third tier. The walk-on tier. You live near campus. If you live in the town that the school is in, you could be a fan of that team. I think you could be a fan of that team. You could support your local economy. You got students that you're living around and interacting with on a daily basis. That is a walk-on tier of fan, and I will give you a fan card pass for that.
So if I went to North Greenville but now live in Clemson, I can pull for Clemson?
Yeah, but you don't live in Clemson.
No, I'm saying if I did.
But you don't.
If I did, but there is somebody, though. What I'm saying is there is somebody who went to North Greenville, and lives in Clemson. Can that person pull for Clemson?
Yes, some rules can supersede other rules.
Gotcha.
Second teamers, you were indoctrinated at birth. These are the fans that you woke up, you came into this world screaming and crying, and your parents swaddled you in a South Carolina garnet and black onesie as a baby. That's second tier. Second teamer, you were named after a player or a coach. And I know a lot of people who name their kids after their favorite rock stars, after their favorite players. I got a buddy that's named 3 different dogs after South Carolina football players because he loves them. That's a second teamer. That's a second tier South Carolina Gamecock fan.
The only problem with those two, like, you could be indoctrinated at birth, but choose, I know a lot of people have done this, choose to go a different route. You could be named Spurrier, but you could be a diehard Florida fan. Or you could be a diehard Florida State fan. I don't have a huge issue with second teamer, but so far, second teamer is the best one you've done.
And I think first ballot fans, these are the top tier fans. The alums that dedicated themselves to the school that they go to, former players, or anybody with a direct familial connection to the team. Direct familial connection for the team. First ballot fans right there. Bam. Parents, brothers, sisters.
Here's the problem, though, with this
first ballot fans.
You have not put on any of these tiers anything about giving money. I think first ballot would be,
hey, I know some South Carolina fans that have given money to sponsor us to go to other conference media days.
Yeah, but
that doesn't make you a first-tier fan.
What if you give a lot of money to your team, though, to your program? Is that a
second
ballot?
Tier. Second team.
I say if you give money, your hard-earned money, I think you're a first-tier fan because
so you could just buy your way into anything you want.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I love pulling for teams, but I don't support them financially, so I'm not ever going to do that ever.
I don't either. I don't
at the high school level, of course I do, but at college level, no, it's different. So bad list. I'll give you a D- on your list here. Let's see if the other Tolos, what letter grade do they give your tier list?
Which tier do you have the biggest problem with?
Bench warmer.
Bench warmers.
Like the colors, and you can just pull for the team. It's
the lowest tier of fans, in my opinion.
That is bad. And then cut list, I have a huge problem with cut list. Blake says he gives it an F, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
You cannot go that cut list. I'm going to change my mind. I think cut list is the worst. I mean,
so you're saying you can be a fan if you jump on the bandwagon of another team just because yours stinks?
No, not that one. The first one. You went to another in-state school. That's the one I have the biggest issue.
No. I see this everywhere, and this is the argument people make of fans that go to smaller schools. You're at Georgia Southern, but you're walking around wearing Georgia red. No, that's pond scum in my opinion. Pond scum in my opinion. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that.
I just like if you go to a Division II school, you see what the difference. And are you excited about Division II football coming up, Diesel?
If I went to school there and I was into it.
No.
I still love FCS football.
Division II, man. No. You don't have to give up your Clemson fandom. Like, here's the thing. If I grew up a Clemson fan or went to Coastal or whatever and went to North Greenville or Coastal, I have to give up my Clemson fandom.
You should be your number one team ought to be North Greenville.
Yeah.
Number one team.
No.
Yeah, you spent 4 years on campus. You went to games, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I know you went to games because you were there for doing play-by-play and being around it.
No,
that's where your heart needs to lie. I think I don't even consider anyone a fan.
Well,
who cheers on Saturday for a school if they went to somewhere else.
Well, here's the deal. Here's how I'll change your mind. I will take you to a Division II or a Division III football game this fall, and you will gladly change your mind. No disrespect. And I hate to say that because that sounds very disrespectful to Division II and Division III football program.
Now who's being disrespectful?
I know, but I'm just saying, come on. Let's be real about this, Diesel. Let's be real. If we go to a game in Tigerville versus a game in Clemson, there's a little bit of a difference. There's a little bit more. It's a different world. So, when I was at North Greenville, people had Carolina shirts on, Clemson shirts, Tennessee, Ohio State. People, they grew up a fan of whoever, they're from wherever, and they continue to pull for them.
I'll give you a pass on doing that stuff if you go to a school that doesn't have a program. Doesn't have a program. You don't have a football team to cheer for there. So then you get the pass.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But no. Dan B or JB says, I'm good, Dan B. I didn't go to college. I'll pull. So there you go. If you don't go to college, you get to pull for whoever. Is that true? Is that on your list?
You should cheer for somebody that's nearby you that you have a connection to.
Oh, I hate that if you live in a state where it's slim pickings or bad teams.
There are always contradictions to these rules. You may not go to the college, but you might have been raised a Clemson fan or a Georgia fan or a Kentucky fan.
Yeah, I guess you could have. I don't have a problem with some of them, but the bench warmer and the cut list is the ones I have the biggest.
Hey,
problem
good to hear from Big Cocky John, who says you're starting to sound like a certain somebody. Hey, thanks for texting into the show, Big Cocky John. If that's what it takes to get you out of the woodworks and to be an active participant of the show, I'll do it.
He said,
I'll jump on that grenade.
God, he did. He got you on that one.
I don't think it's an insult.
Texter says, next Diesel will tell us we need to be a fan of all the teams in the same city, Panthers, Hornets, etc. You have been called him twice today by two different people.
So what?
Wow, Diesel, on a Wednesday? Are you getting that name?
Are you trying to insinuate that being compared to Mark Ryan is an insult?
Yeah, I would say so.
What's the matter? What's your problem with Mark?
I would say so.
What's your problem with him?
If you're like these listeners and you didn't like the show, sure. I
don't see it as an insult.
That's again, if you like the show, you were on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's personal preference. People have personal preference.
I am an alum of that show, therefore I get to be a fan of that show.
And you have to. I mean, you were an alum, so you have to have liked it, right? You're part of it. You can't say I didn't like it. You're part of the show. Diesel, let's go to the 320 segment where we go to the NFC South. A big quarterback change today. Not change, but announcement. Do the Falcons what they're doing? Does it scare the Carolina Panther fans out there? We'll get to that next.
Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Let's talk about what the Atlanta Falcons have done here. They have made, per Adam Schefter, Bijan Robinson the highest paid running back in NFL history, 3 years, $75 million, $51 million guaranteed. I am in no way, shape, or form going to comment on whether or not Bijan Robinson is worth it, because I think it's pretty obvious that he deserves to be paid as the highest paid running back in the NFL based on his performance individually being better than that of his peers. Okay? Period. Next sentence. In many cases, maybe not all, but in many cases. I despise the way the Atlanta Falcons are building their team. Despise it. I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. 1, they are paying everyone else to make up for quarterback play. I hate when teams do that. Let's pay a wide receiver, let's pay a running back, let's pay a tight end, who all deserve to get paid, because we really don't have the position that matters the most. And then let's give up future assets to get defenders on our team that, let's say it kindly, may not be the highest of character players, according to reports. I don't appreciate the way in which they're building the team. It wouldn't be the way I would build it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kevin Stefanski is going to come in there and he is going to just make this thing unbelievably like it's going to click perfectly.
2-time coach of the year.
Right. But he's 2-time coach of the year because he's always had crappy quarterbacks and he's tried to make them better, right?
So there is one of the Atlanta talk show host, Diesel, talking about the way that this Atlanta Falcons franchise is building their team. You heard him clearly.
That's Evan Cohen from Evan, Canty, and Michelle.
Unsportsmanlike. You heard him clearly say he did not like the way the Falcons were building this franchise. And Kevin Stefanski in year one, I do think has an interesting job description when you talk about like, okay, what's my job? How do I correlate, or how do I work with the general manager, Diesel, and ownership that are already here? And to his point, okay, we're paying Bijan, we're paying the tight ends, we have all this talent around, but we don't have it around anybody because we don't really have anybody that we're really confident in the quarterback. This is an approach that you and I have talked about with the Carolina Panthers before when it comes to building a team and then finding the quarterback down the road. Is this, if you are a Tolo out there and you're an NFL fan, Diesel as well, is this the right or wrong approach on how to build a team if you are the Atlanta Falcons?
I fundamentally disagree with Evan Cohen on this because, Cole, if you start by bringing in a quarterback from the draft, let's say you bring in Arch Manning and he is great, but you got nobody to throw it to. You got nobody to hand it off to. You got nobody to block for you. You got nobody to play defense when you're off the field. You're going to struggle. And how many times have we seen that? We've seen the Browns try this for years. We've seen the Jets try this for years. We've seen a lot of teams try this for years. You can't start with the quarterback and then hope that you can build around that, because once you get 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, now you're in second contract territory with this quarterback. And you've done one of two things. You've either ruined him by not having somebody around him, Sam Darnold, or you've actually found a quality quarterback and you have to pay so much to hang on to him that you can't afford to build and pay a quality team around him.
Well, I think there's danger any way you look at it in the NFL. The NFL is full of risk, and how you manage that risk defines how you are as a general manager, right? When it comes to roster building, when it comes to who you pay, how much you pay them, there's just so much risk involved, period. That is your job. When you are a GM, when you're Dan Morgan, your job description is managing risk. That's it. That's how you do it. That's the job right there. And in this situation with Tua and the Falcons, this all comes from the article where Tua Tagovailoa, Diesel, will start Friday, not yet named Falcons QB1. This all comes from like, okay, well, what are they doing? What's the plan? Maybe it doesn't look like they have a plan at quarterback, but I agree with what you said and what I've said for many years now. I feel as if it's a more conservative plan. When you talk about managing risk, it's a more conservative plan to go this route, where you do have talent and you can find the right quarterback at any given time. And yes, there's still pressure to find the right quarterback. But if you find the right quarterback and you don't have any of the pieces around him, I think it's hurt. And if you've seen Diesel in the history of the NFL, you've seen time after time where a team's had a really good quarterback. Let's just go to the Detroit Lions, for example. and almost ruining a guy in Matthew Stafford. That's a perfect example of, hey, that organization built that franchise the wrong way. What if they would have had really good talent and a a lesser quarterback? I think they would have probably won a lot more games and maybe won a few more playoff games as well.
You know, the textbook definition of insanity is doing something again and again and again and expecting a different result. How many times have we seen NFL teams who are, to use Mark Schlereth's term that you hear in our promo, bereft of talent, go draft a quarterback number 1 overall, and then screw up the first 3, 4, 5 years of his career?
Yeah.
Happens every single year. And when you look at what the Falcons have at quarterback right now, Tua is old AF and his eggs are scrambled. I mean, he is one more shot off the turf from ending his career at any given time. Michael Penix, he's still on his rookie contract. Maybe he could develop into something great. You know, obviously he was injured and it's going to take some time to come back from that. But if you don't have either one of those two guys that you're confident in, and next year you've still got Bijan Robinson on your team. You've still got these wide receivers that you paid. You've still got tight ends that you paid, and you got a decent enough defense, and you feel like you need to go to the draft because you've had a bad year and take a quarterback somewhere in the top 10. All of a sudden, you've got a top 10 caliber quarterback, in your opinion, walking into your building, walking into a team that is ready-made to be good. To me, I would liken it to any SEC team that's in the top 4 or 5 of their school, and you're having to start in your conference, and you're having to start a freshman at quarterback. You know you've got a good offensive line. You know you've got a good defense. You know you've got good skill positions. I think you're far more likely to be successful when you're walking in with quality pieces around you than having to be 100% of the offense and hoping that over the next 5 years you stay off of the training table long enough to develop into a good player.
Well, I'll say this. There is still risk. I don't want to make it sound like when you go down that path, if you choose to do that, if you choose to make your team better and find a quarterback later, obviously there's still risk. Like I said a few minutes ago, there's risk. Any situation, there's always risk. But when you choose to go down that road, like the GM and the organization, Diesel still has to understand that, hey, we need a quarterback. But it's not our we're not going to mortgage our franchise on finding a quarterback when we don't feel like this roster's talented enough to help take that quarterback to a good spot. You know, every good quarterback or any good quarterback can only take a team so far if the roster around him isn't good enough. I mean, you take Patrick Mahomes last year. Patrick Mahomes didn't decline as a quarterback, but guess what? Last year, they didn't have the same team around Patrick Mahomes. He was still the same quarterback, still very good, but guess what? Fast forward, or rewind rather, 3 years before that, Mahomes, much better quarterback. Or was he really a better quarterback, or did he just have a really good team around them? And that's the difference. Good quarterback, average team, meh, you'll win some games, but there still will be holes. Good quarterback, good talent around them. You see the talent that Patrick Mahomes had in Kansas City in his first few years. It was spectacular. A good quarterback plus a bad supporting cast, a quarterback can look worse than he really is. You know, think about that. If you have a good quarterback and the supporting cast is just buns, that quarterback's going to look a lot worse. And I think Joe Burrow in that situation sometimes is an example of that. Go up one notch. If you have an average quarterback with a great supporting cast, I think that team can still win a lot. And then if you have a good quarterback, and I think this is the plan that Atlanta should take, and a great supporting cast, that's where championship teams usually come from. Breaking news, Diesel, it doesn't take an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl or a national championship. Nick Saban is a great example of that in Alabama. So there's different formulas, different paths to win a championship in every sport. But I just look at it from a managing risk standpoint. Boy, I'd like to have a good team.
I mean, let's pretend for a moment here that, like I said, Tua is out of the league within 2 years. Michael Penix Jr. doesn't pan out to what you think he's going to be. You know, still TBD. Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
If that is the reality for the Falcons going forward, they still have the quality pieces that they have. They still have Bijan and Drake and Kyle Pitts, and they have some other really good players on that offense. You can just keep plugging in quarterbacks, hoping to find the right combination at that point.
Yeah.
Whether that be from free agency or whether it be out of the draft next year or the year after that. Because yeah, you've got a lot of money tied up in those players that I was just talking about. But you're bringing in rookies who are playing on rookie contracts, who are inexpensive. And by the time, if they pan out and end up being really good, by that point, you got a Bijan Robinson that's old and probably about to leave the league. You know, you got contracts that are starting to expire, so you have options down the road instead of constantly searching. I mean, what is constantly searching for a quarterback done for the Cleveland Browns over the last 30 years?
It's been bad.
It's been really, really bad to take that strategy. So
bad.
Flip it on its head, do it the opposite way around. I think the Falcons are it remains to be seen whether or not this strategy is successful, but there is logic to it that I think makes a lot of sense that Evan Cohen's not seeing.
And I think so too. I think teams also, before I get to the text line, I think teams also just get lucky. And Diesel, I know that a lot of people, including you, don't believe in luck, but I think you just get lucky sometimes. And they're never going to admit it, but you draft a quarterback that you didn't expect to be in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, and all of a sudden he's playing for, like, sometimes I just think you get lucky with who you get. Of course, the owners and the GMs are going to say, oh, no, we knew this guy was good. We knew Tom Brady was going to be this Hall of Fame quarterback, the best ever. I just think sometimes you get lucky. Now, we did not agree with Eric Hines yesterday, but we do agree with him. I do agree with him today, Diesel. I don't know if you've seen his takes yet. Eric Hines says, spend money on offensive line first. Protection is the key. Fly, Eagles, fly. I agree with Eric on that. I do. I agree when it comes to team building in the NFL, regardless of who the quarterback is, Diesel, I want a guy who's protected. I want a team that's protected. And I do agree 100% with Eric Hines on this, that you've got to build a team from the inside out. And when you do that, guess what? Most of the time, Diesel, when you build that team inside out, most of the time that creates success. Look at the teams right now that are winning at a high level. They've got dudes up front. And Eric Hines, his Philadelphia Eagles, those Super Bowls they won not long ago, they had dudes up front. And I mean, Kelsey, Travis, I mean, it goes on and on. You got to start up front, no doubt.
Well, and look at like we said before, look at the quarterbacks that were wasted the first 4 or 5 years of their careers. Most quarterbacks are going to struggle coming into the league, right? It's an adjustment, and it takes a year or two. Not everybody can do what Jaden Daniels did in his first year. Obviously, circumstances took him out of that. But now that those quarterbacks have gotten some experience under their belt, they've moved on to other teams that are set up to be successful with great lines and great skill positions. All of a sudden, they're winning Super Bowls now.
Yeah.
You know?
Tua is going to start Friday night in the team's preseason opener against the Denver Broncos. Stefanski announced on Wednesday, although Diesel, it doesn't necessarily mean Tua will be the starter week 1. I think it's interesting when you look at this quarterback competition. I'm going to use air quotes there. Stefanski said it's still too early to tab a starting quarterback for the regular season. The Falcons travel to Pittsburgh for week 1 on September 13th. Stefanski said today, we're not there yet to name a starter for week 1. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Michael Penix, third-year quarterback, still fully not cleared, unable to do 11-on-11s right now, so they're limited. If Cooper Rush. And Diesel, my last question is, if you're a Panthers fan or a fan of a team in the NFC South, do the Falcons right now scare you at all as an organization?
If Tua's their starter, no. I mean, the only reason they scare me is if Michael Penix gets back in time to play by the time you play him.
And there's a lot of if there, too.
Yeah.
Just a lot of if with Michael. Like, I think Michael Penix is an exceptional talent. I do, but I don't know. It doesn't always work out the way you expect it to, you know? It doesn't, and let's be honest, nobody's scared of Cooper Rush. And I hate to say that because he used to be a Dallas Cowboy and just backup quarterback for a reason. But
these are the situations that are made for Cooper Rush and Jack Strand
to
get playing time.
That is.
Yeah, to get playing time in the preseason game. Why would you risk Tua that is essentially made of eggshells in a preseason game? You don't. I mean, can you put that special cap or sleeve or jersey on Tua to make sure he doesn't get hit? Because if he goes down, you're doubly screwed.
And that's why I think that quarterback room, going back to our original point of this conversation, I think the quarterback room, it creates more iffiness, more risk. Like if Tua gets hurt and Penix isn't cleared, what the crap do? You are royally screwed. And I mean, just royally. I mean, you have no plan. None. Zero. who'd you say? Jack Strand and Cooper Rush. You have nothing. You've got zilch. So if he doesn't get hurt, Tua plays well. Maybe Tua in Atlanta, maybe it works. It never worked with Mike McDaniel for whatever reason. If I'm a fan of this, if I'm a Panthers fan, they've got weapons. Bijan's good. I mean, they've got really good weapons. I think the Falcons do. But
Jack Strand sounds like the 7 p.m. newscaster in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. News at 7 with Jack Strand.
Sounds weird, doesn't it? Shane Barrett says Stefanski being in Atlanta makes me hate Atlanta more. What's your beef with Kevin Stefanski, Shane? Should I know? What is your Stefanski beef? I don't know that I know what that means. Do you not like Stefanski? You have something against Kevin Stefanski? I think he's a good coach. Being in Cleveland, how do we know how good of a coach Kevin Stefanski is when he spent his last years in Cleveland?
What if Mike McDaniel was just not cut out to be a head coach in Miami? What if he flourishes as a coordinator in L.A.?
He could. He's flipping L.A. on their head, by the way, right now. They are allowing him to come in. I was reading an article. They're allowing him to come in and do pretty much anything and everything he wants. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Before we run to a break, Rick and Greer wants to get in on the conversation. I don't know. Rick and Greer doesn't seem like an NFL guy to me. Maybe he is. I know he likes the Panthers a little bit. Supposedly had PSLs. Rick, calling to talk NFL or getting us off track again, Rick?
Panthers, but the Braves were wonderful yesterday. I went down to Atlanta to watch the Braves. They were wonderful.
I thought you went down there on Monday, Rick.
Yeah, it was Monday.
Yeah, and they lost that game.
Yeah, but they were wonderful. The ballpark is nice.
Rick got caught in the lie.
Is that the one they lost 8-5 on a first inning grand slam? They were wonderful.
They were wonderful.
The uniforms were clean.
And also, who's the girl doing the commercials for the quarterback for the Panthers? Is there a girl doing those commercials?
Oh, he's making fun of Bryce Young's voice. Hey guys, this is Bryce Young.
It was early years. It was his early years, Rick.
That's a girl doing that voice.
Oh my God, that's disrespectful.
It does.
It's disrespectful, Rick.
It is tough. It's a tough sounder. We've made fun of it for 3 years now, but I think they literally did that as soon as he got signed, the day of, and maybe he hadn't drank a lot of water that day. I don't know. His pipes weren't ready.
Let me get my predictions. Atlanta will make the playoffs, but they won't win the World Series. The Dodgers are going to win. You know they are.
That's a hot take pick right there, Rick. The most talented team in baseball is going to win the World Series.
Yeah, but the Dodgers stink right now.
But the Panthers are going to finish 8 and 9 this year.
Again. 8 and 9
We're going
again.
from baseball to – we are super quick. So you just predict the Braves – make the playoffs. They don't win the World Series. Dodgers, a lot to keep up with here, Rick. Dodgers win the World Series. Panthers go 8 and 9. Make the playoffs or miss the playoffs? What do you say?
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think New Orleans is that good?
I think they're better. I don't think they're great. Kellen Moore. I like Kellen Moore.
Better than the Panthers?
I think they split. And Kellen Moore's going to do a good job. It's just going to take time. Who is your since you're making all your predictions, what's your college prediction for today? Who's your college team?
My college team is Clemson, but
and what's their prediction?
They're going to lose 3 games, 3 to 4. They're going to lose to Miami. They're going to lose to LSU, and I don't know. They always pop up another game like Boston College or
Syracuse.
Yeah.
Who is
somebody?
You've got 2 losses. You've got who'd you say? LSU and who? Miami?
LSU and Miami's are lost.
All right, you got one more, Rick. You got to choose between Georgia Southern, North Carolina Cal, Charleston Southern, Virginia Tech, Florida State, Syracuse, Georgia Tech, or South Carolina or Duke.
I'm going to say I'm a Clemson fan, but I'm going to say South Carolina.
Wow.
Whoa.
Talk about breaking your fandom there.
Wow. Gamecock fans across the upstate are rejoicing. They're going to start bringing you pizza and donuts, Rick.
I'll make Cocky happy, okay? And let me ask you one last question.
Uh-huh.
Where is my boy that always called in that y'all make fun of all the time? I have not heard him in a month.
Are you walking away from your phone? Is it on the other side of the room, Rick? What's happening?
No,
can you
hear me now?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
Dewey? What's up with Dewey?
We hadn't heard from him all week, have we? I don't think we've heard from him all
you
week.
gotta. I don't know. Go down to the local probation office and find him.
Back in prison again? Oh my God!
Could be.
I done got him out 3 times. I ain't getting him out no more.
Could be,
All right.
Rick.
Appreciate
Thanks
the
for
phone call, Rick. Good to hear from you.
God, always a good one with Rick.
Yep. Another good one on the other side of the break, Cole. The rankings for the best quarterbacks in the SEC. Where is LaNorris Sellers, and how angry are South Carolina Gamecock fans going to be about this? That's next.
He's Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
If you ask Josh Pate, LaNorris Sellers is not the best quarterback in the SEC.
Oh,
He's not the second best quarterback. He's not the third best quarterback. You got to keep on traveling down that list, Cole. And his top 10 best quarterback rankings in the SEC, LaNorris Sellers is the 7th best quarterback in the league. Below the Alabama question mark, not knowing who is going to be starting for them. Disrespectful? Considering who's in front of him?
Well, I think, number one, I think this is going to take us into this topic. It's going to go into the next segment as well because we don't have much time here. But I think we'll get some feedback from Gamecock fans, 844-326-3663. I don't know about disrespectful, maybe a little bit. I'd say there are things LaNorris does that are better than what Gunnar Stockton does. I don't have a problem with Trinidad being number one. I think he is the best quarterback in the SEC. Arch, I would probably put Arch behind John Mateer if it were my list. I'd probably have John Mateer ahead of Arch Manning, just off of what he did last year, right? Okay. Gunnar, I don't know. I don't know on Gunnar Stockton. Alabama QB is what it says.
Yeah.
They hadn't decided on a quarterback yet.
There's what's interesting about this, Cole, and a lot of this is, worthy of giving flowers to the quarterbacks who play in the SEC because there's a lot of really good ones.
Good ones, yeah.
You could argue that LaNorris Sellers should be higher than 7, should be higher than a potentially injured Sam Leavitt, we don't know who the starter at Alabama is going to be, but you could also argue that he's ranked too high on this list because if you believe that Marcel Reed at Texas A&M is the quality quarterback that you and I both believe that he is, you could argue that LaNorris Sellers needs to fall down this list.
My biggest problem is having him below Alabama QB. Like, that's disrespectful. You're not even saying, you're just saying, every quarterback Bama has is better.
Who do they have? There's a couple of freshmen,
Keelan Russell's projected to be the starter according to Phil Steele,
and he is what class? A freshman?
Redshirt freshman.
Yeah, better than a 3-year starter.
I think that's a little whack. And again, no disrespect to Josh Pate, but that LaNorris has shown what he can do. And I know he wasn't great last year. LaNorris wasn't great last year. Let's continue that conversation. We also have to get into flipping the script from yesterday at 5 o'clock, Diesel, when we talk about Dabo and Shane Beamer's, or at 5:20, Dabo and Shane Beamer's biggest positives, because, yesterday we talked about their flaws a lot. And then also in the very next segment as well, before we make our Clemson and South Carolina predictions either later this week or next week, what are the last things we need to take into consideration before we make those predictions for the two? That and more next.
Upstate.
JT and Greer gets in and says Gunner passed for 75 yards against Georgia Tech last year. LaNorris is much better. He's referring to the conversation that we were having on the show in the very last segment. If you just tuned in, welcome in. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. So good to be with you on this Hump Day edition on the Fan Upstate. Diesel brought the list from Josh Pate, preseason quarterback rankings. We're also keeping it South Carolina and Clemson in this very segment as well. So want to hear from you at 844-326-3663. Phone lines are open. The Joy Law Firm text line is there as well. Shane Barrett asked, can we see the list? Well, Shane, it's on Josh Pate's account, and now it's on the stream. Diesel just put it on there. There's the list. If you just tuned in, Josh Pate has Trinidad Chambliss ranked number 1, Arch Manning number 2, John Mateer number 3, Gunnar Stockton number 4, Sam Levitt 5, Alabama QB at 6. That's dumb. LaNorris Sellers at 7, Marcel Reed at 8, Byram Brown at 9, and Austin Simmons at 10. I still can't get over the fact that Alabama QB with no name is ranked ahead of LaNorris Sellers. I think that's a little bit disrespectful.
It is. Do I think Alabama QB, whoever he is, could have a statistically better season this year than LaNorris Sellers? It's possible. If South Carolina is really bad at protecting LaNorris again and he's running for his life again, I don't think that's going to be the case, but I'm just saying if. And to the texter's point here, who was it that said, JT and Greer said Gunner passed for 75 yards against Georgia Tech last year. Well, to be fair, LaNorris Sellers had 94 yards against Vandy.
Yeah.
So, you can always go tit for tat on who had a bad game here or there. But as far as the skill and experience, I think the experience has to account for a lot. So right now, there's no reason to have Alabama QB, nameless, faceless, whoever the starter will be, ranked higher than LaNorris Sellers. That's crazy. And I could argue and say LaNorris Sellers should be as high as 4 on this list, but I could also argue that he should be as low as 8. So there's always room for debate. What do you think, Tolos? 844-326-3663. LaNorris Sellers, the 7th best quarterback in the SEC in Josh Pate's preseason rankings.
Shane Barrett wants to get in on the conversation at 844-FAN phone. Shane, do you agree, disagree, somewhere in between with Josh Pate's quarterback rankings in the SEC?
I like Josh Pate. I really do, but this list sucks.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't love it.
So what's your issue with it?
Well, one, Sam Levitt at 5.
Yeah.
The vague Alabama QB at 6.
So if Sam Levitt is healthy, if Sam Levitt is as healthy as Lane Kiffin says he is he the 5th best quarterback?
Then I'm fine with that, okay. Actually. I know I hate on Sam Levitt because of his health, but I do, if he's healthy, I think he might actually end up being underrated for LSU. But we don't know what his health looks like. And I have an issue with Byram Brown at number 9. I mean, he's one of 12 or 13 players in college football history to pass for 3,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards in the same season, and he's almost done it twice. And I think the list of people that have done it twice is Lamar Jackson.
Byram Brown of Auburn's better than who?
I would take him over LaNorris. Sorry, I'd take him over the vague
That's
Alabama
a homer
QB.
take. That's a homer take.
Ooh! How many
Homer
times
take.
LaNorris passed for 3,000 yards
LaNorris has not.
and rushed for 1,000 yards.
So we're one stat. We're using one stat to say he's better than LaNorris Sellers.
What was South Carolina's record last year or the year
Here
before
we go.
that?
I mean, this is the biggest Auburn. This is the biggest Auburn
I told
take
you my
ever.
other problems with the list.
But didn't
I
Byram
think Marcel
Brown
Reed is way too low.
Didn't Byram Brown also accomplish these feats in the group of 5?
Yes,
Okay.
but he's
So
still
don't-
one of 13 players to ever do it.
Okay. But he did it against technically lesser competition. So don't you have to
Go look
subtract
at Florida.
10%?
Sure.
He had a
Go-
better.
also
So
go
you're saying
look
he
at
had a better
Florida.
year last year? Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah.
So
And I think in general he'll end up being better this year.
better quarterback, though. I mean, look, again, now let's not pigeonhole ourselves here. He had a better year last year. Do you believe that makes him a better quarterback overall than LaNorris Sellers?
Yes. Not just because of last year. I just think in general he'll be better.
Of course you do. He's wearing the orange and blue.
I literally went home from work and put an Auburn t-shirt on.
There you go. Look, maybe he turns out to be. But I think LaNorris Sellers has the physical traits. And also, I mean, what offensive coordinator wise, do we put that on offensive line and offensive coordinator? We're going to knock LaNorris Sellers for that last year?
Oh no, absolutely not. But here's the problem with LaNorris. I think he has the same problem that he did last year that he does this year. Who's he throwing the football to? And I brought that up on the show last year. Who is he going to throw the football to this year?
Yeah, throw Nick Harbor first.
Harbor, but that's it.
Mazio Bennett?
Who?
Mazio, you know who Mazio Bennett is.
No, I really
Get
don't.
out of here. What are you, an owl all of a sudden?
Who?
Look, I think LaNorris has the tools to be really good. Last year, I mean,
do too.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying Byron Brown's not good, but I just don't know that when you talk about situation, LaNorris was in a pretty shoddy situation last year. I know we're defending LaNorris, but just trying to make a good case for it.
So who do you think has the better season this year? Byron Brown has the better season in Auburn.
Maybe he does. Maybe Shane's right.
So here's the taking Byram out of it. If you look at Golish, the head coach, and the offensive coordinator Joel Gordon, when they have been together, and even in the SEC, they brought Tennessee from somewhere down in the doldrums to 7th nationally the first year that Golish was at Tennessee, and then 1st nationally. And then last year, South Florida was 3rd nationally, I think, in offensive production.
Then why do you think Josh Pate rated them so low?
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, Auburn has questions of their own about the offensive line this year, and they lost all that talent at wide receiver, so that could easily be it.
Yeah.
So there's question marks there, but
we'll see, though. It's just 7-9. 7. He has LaNorris at 7.
Well, I think that's more of the point of maybe the segment, too, is like D still said it. The SEC is loaded at quarterback this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if you could draw a line in the sand between maybe John Mateer and Gunnar Stockton, or Gunnar Stockton and Sam Levitt, between around 3.5 or 4.5, and say, all right, here's the upper tier of these really good quarterbacks, here's the lower tier of these really good quarterbacks, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah, I honestly, you could draw a line at Trinidad Chambliss and then circle from 2 to 9. And I really think those could be interchangeable.
I think so. Shane, thanks for the call. Good call as always. Appreciate you. Just giving you a hard time on your Auburn fandom. I have to call somebody a homer on the show since Tom and Cocky for a reason. It's weird when Tom has disappeared and gone to Germany, Cocky's kind of disappeared as well.
Did Cocky go with him?
I don't know. I do not know the answer to that. It's weird, though. Dewey's been MIA. Tom's in Germany. Cocky, we don't know what happened to him. Maybe he's alive. We hope so. But I don't know. I mean, I think the list it's tough ranking these and making these kind of lists because you just don't there's so many different factors that go into it.
Yeah. There's a lot of vibes here, and it's not so much ranking based off of actual statistical information or projecting what they'll be able to achieve this year statistically.
What kind of feedback, and I'm looking now on Twitter, what kind of feedback did Josh Pate get on this? Was it?
I'd imagine it was all very positive. And everybody agreed with him.
Oh, here we go. Here's the tweet. So the first response is Clay Travis. Marcel Reed at 8 is outrageous. And that's funny. That's pretty funny.
Well, Josh says, what does a WNBA reporter know about the SEC?
That's pretty funny, too. I didn't know Travis was a WNBA reporter. Let me see. Let's see what else the responses are. Another person says Reed at 8 is offensive. Marcel Reed on the list, so please delete. I don't know. I think 8. Marcel Reed at 8 could be a little low. Maybe if I had to make a list, maybe I would put Marcel Reed above LaNorris Sellers. Maybe I would.
So you're saying that LaNorris Sellers is the 8th best?
No, I'd have him above I'd take him above the Alabama QB.
So you leave him at 7
ish. Maybe 6. You might could talk me into 6. I think LaNorris has the skill set to be the fifth, sixth best quarterback, maybe even fourth. I think he has the skill. Just talking about, and this is where people don't understand how to have these kind of conversations. Just based on skill set, I think LaNorris can be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. But people throw all these different caveats and say, well, last year, Byron Brown had more yards than LaNorris Sellers, so he's not better. And whatever your agenda is, you use this and that to fit. But I'm just saying skill set wise, we know that the skill set of Trinidad Chambliss is phenomenal. That guy's got a God-given skill set that's just he is an athlete, but very good athlete.
How good will his skill set translate without Lane Kiffin calling plays?
We'll see. I tell you what, if you're the head coach, it doesn't take a genius. Hey, let that guy be him.
True.
Same thing with Sellers. Let that guy be him. And last year, I just didn't feel like the offensive coordinator let that guy be him. And 2 years ago, when LaNorris Sellers was LaNorris Sellers, he just made plays. And Trinidad Chambliss last year just made plays. And sometimes when you have a quarterback with that kind of skill set, that's just unbelievable to try to define and pigeonhole him and grab him. You go back to that Clemson play where LaNorris had like 8 Clemson jerseys around him and Diesel and still found a way to score. You just got to let those guys be them. Let them go be athletes. Let them go make plays. You try to do this and you try to do that. My biggest hope with Kendall Briles this year is, of course, you want to have like an offensive identity. Of course, you want to have scheme. And of course, you want to have all these different things. But let LaNorris Sellers go be LaNorris Sellers. Does that mean like backyard football every play? No, I'm not saying that. But let him use his strengths in a way that benefits the offense. And that's my biggest problem. You've got a couple of quarterbacks that can do that.
Well, we all know now that my list-making skills are suspect. So let me redeem myself. I'm going to re-rank these and say Trinidad Chambliss 1, John Mateer 2, Arch Manning 3, Gunnar Stockton stays at 4, but I think there's a line between 3 and 4. LaNorris Sellers 5, Sam Leavitt 6, Marcel Reed 6, Sam Leavitt 7, Alabama QB 8, Byron Brown 9.
That's disrespectful to Byron Brown.
It is, I know.
Shane's going to call back in,
and we're evaluating Gunnar Stockton, who had an amazing season last year. He was 70% through the air. Didn't put up enormous passing numbers, but at Georgia, you don't have to because your running game is so good.
Okay, so let me go in my hand here. You went Trinidad 1.
Yep.
I agree with you there. I'm also going to go Trinidad 1.
Okay.
Who'd you go to?
John Mateer.
Yeah. I don't have a huge problem with that. Mateer was almost a 3,000-yard guy last year.
I know Arch is really good, but I'm still just not 100% convinced.
I just think they're different quarterbacks too. I think they're different quarterbacks, and Arch, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine, but John Mateer, there's something about him that makes you think, man, this guy might have a little something. He's got that it factor, Yeah, I guess you could debate Mateer and Arch Manning a little bit. I'm fine with him being 2, though. I'm fine with Mateer being 2. He's jacked. I don't know if you've seen pictures. He's gotten jacked this all. He looks like a bodybuilder. Doesn't look like a quarterback at all, John Mateer. So I don't know if he's if he doesn't win games, if he's just going to fight people in the parking lot. But I would
Tybo. He's working out on the Tebow plan.
I'd go, kind of like I'd go Mateer 2, Arch 3. I have no problem with that. Who'd you put at 4? Who'd you say?
I had Gunnar Stockton at 4.
And I think that's tough. Gunnar Stockton was a good quarterback last year. He was 7th in the SEC when it comes to passing yards, 2,800 passing yards. He was behind Chambliss, Simpson, Joey from Tennessee, Diego, Marcel, and Arch. And that's it. He was 7th in the SEC. So I don't know. I think Gunnar's obviously got a lot of talent around him, Diesel at Georgia, but Sam Leavitt's the tricky one here. He's the tricky one. We just don't know what Sam Leavitt and Lane Kiffin, what that marriage will look like, That's the one that I think you kind of put an asterisk beside. Alabama quarterback, if you're not going to put a name, let's drop that one down a little bit. Sam Leavitt, though, I think is the one you just can't figure out. The asterisk beside him because of what we talked about with health. but also Lane Kiffin, year one. They were 7-6 a year ago. Sam Levitt could be 2, 3, maybe 4 on this list eventually, but I don't think he's there right now.
Okay.
So
I had LaNorris all the way up at 5. I had Marcel Reed at 6. I think I had Sam Levitt at 7.
yeah, I don't hate it. I think he's done a better job with this list. I think LaNorris, again, just going back to our conversation with Shane Barrett, his skill set for me, like when you see a quarterback and you see what he can do, you don't really ever forget about that, you know? And of course, last year was a bad year, Diesel, but you still know the skill set that LaNorris has. And you think, man, if he can just get the right guy to take that Play-Doh and mold it the right way, then all of a sudden you're talking about a quarterback that can reinvent himself in 2026. And I think that's possible. So LaNorris top 5, if I told you LaNorris finished the season top 5, I don't think many people would be surprised by that.
Shane Barrett says, where do y'all have Byram?
Why,
and I adjusted Byram Brown down the list. He's last. He's last because of his homer calls. Homer calls,
he said.
Yeah.
Creed and Cowpens wants to get in at 844-326-3663. Creed, what is your take on this? Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. Creed, let's try again.
Okay, there we go. Is that better?
Yep, perfect.
Hey, I hear a lot about skill sets and all this. Let me ask you a hypothetical. If the Mississippi quarterback transferred right now to Mississippi State, would he fall like number 10?
So that the answer to that question is how you're ranking these quarterbacks. Like, do you rank them based on their team and situation, or do you rank them based on what you think they have as a physical skill set and what they can do as a quarterback? You know, like same conversation going back to yesterday with the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. That's why these are so difficult to do, is because, yeah, a really good quarterback looks good when he has talent around him, Creed, but when he doesn't, to your point, maybe he's not as good as a quarterback, right?
Yes, absolutely. Dan Marino is probably top 10 of all time, but he's not as good as Joe Flacco because he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Sure.
That's the argument.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Where would you have – are you a Gamecock fan, Creed?
Well, I went to USC.
Okay, so then you are.
Top tier Gamecock fan.
Sellers would be number 2, maybe number 1. But now after last year, what happened? I mean,
regressed.
It kind of shows you with the NFL draft too of why maybe some teams you wouldn't draft a quarterback. You would just like stock up your linemen and everything else because the quarterback is such a hit or miss.
I mean, Sellers with Texas's offensive line could look like the second coming. You just never know. You're right. Situation matters. There's skill set, and that is sort of a potential score. And then you have to add situation to it to make a prediction.
Yeah. So many different factors. Creed, always appreciate the phone call. What's your prediction for your Gamecocks this year?
8 wins. We're going to get 8.
Wow. I like it.
Solid.
Creed and Cowpens always appreciate
Not
you.
nearly as homer as the phone calls we get from Shane Barrett.
Nah,
Well,
I mean, 8 wins.
4 to 8.
8's a little bullish.
A little homerish.
I mean, I think it's one of those where you think, man, they need 8 wins,
Yeah.
It's going to be tough in the SEC. Of course, life's tough in the SEC, but 8 wins would be big for that program.
And we'll give our official predictions at some point.
Yep.
Haven't decided when we're going to do that, but they are
before
coming.
the season. We know that.
Yes. Speaking of headed our way, let's talk Carolina Panthers training camp in the very next segment with Travis Hancock, a.k.a. Bone of the Mac and Bone Show of WFNZ in Charlotte. That's next. Well, I don't know about the rest of our Carolina Panthers fans that are in the audience, Cole, but I'm still riding high, still feeling good about the Carolina Panthers win in the Hall of Fame game. To talk Panthers and training camp and projections into the future, we go to the phone lines and up I-85 to Travis Hancock, a.k.a. Bone of the Mac and Bone Show of WFNZ in Charlotte. Travis, how much time have you been able to spend out at training camp these last couple of days? I know you guys were there on location right out of the gate.
I have not been there as much the last couple days because of our schedule and whatnot, but certainly following along closely, and a lot of excitement in the air, a lot of positive vibes here for the Carolina Panthers off that historic, I'd say, Hall of Fame game win where 7 million people watched the Panthers and Haynes King make a statement in that game.
Travis, do you think like the feel good, the mantra has helped a little bit, has changed a little bit after the preseason injuries that happened, like as the Panthers were walking to the field, I believe? Like, did that win and a preseason win, did that make Carolina Panther fans feel better about the preseason thus far? Because those injuries, pretty brutal injuries, right?
Yeah, they were pretty brutal. I think one thing that's helped, and you never want any team to have injuries, obviously, but the Panthers and Cardinals got off to a quicker start than the other teams because of the Hall of Fame game. So it felt like at first it was like, oh my God, the Panthers are cursed. Everybody's going down. And then, the Saints, they lose Brian Brzee. The Falcons, unfortunately, lose Javon Walker. There's a lot of injuries around the league. So I think the Panther fans kind of took a deep breath and said, yeah, well, it's not some curse that we just happen to be the first team practicing. Every team loses players. It's just the nature of the combat sport of football. So I think once other teams started practicing and unfortunately other guys started going down, I think Panther fans realized, oh yeah, maybe it's just a normal thing.
Travis, what are you hearing in now that it's been a couple of days since that Hall of Fame game about Haynes King's hamstring injury? I mean, are you reading anything extra into the fact that they added Kyle Trask for the following preseason game? Do you think that means it's a little more serious than what they're telling us, which is not much?
Well, obviously, Panther Twitter went nuts with conspiracy theories about, are they trying to hide him? Are they trying to stash him? Are they, they're trying to do some sort of, oh, he's hurt, but he's not really hurt routine? I don't think you do that for a guy that still needs to develop his passing. And that would be more of a thing towards the end of the preseason, where you try to stash a guy. I haven't heard how serious it is. I do know that they've been trying to get Kyle Trask on the roster here for a while because of the connection with Dave Canales there in Tampa. Part of me wonders, I know Kyle Trask isn't exactly great, but either is Kenny Pickett. So does the Kyle Trask stuff mean more about what they think of Pickett as the direct backup as much as it means something for Haynes King? I don't know, because I don't know if Kenny Pickett really is the most ideal backup quarterback, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think it means a lot for Haynes King. I'm curious if the signing means something potentially for Kenny Pickett. We've already established a Kyle Trask fan club here called the Trask Force. So they've aligned, they've assembled, and they are ready to they're ready to assemble if needed.
We're talking to Travis Hancock of the Mac and Bone Show, WFNZ in Charlotte. So kind of going back to that answer a minute there, Bone, behind Bryce Young, what do the Panthers need to see in the preseason games or practice, whatever it might be, for them to decide what the quarterback situation looks like outside of Bryce Young?
Someone that they can fully trust, not necessarily for a long period of time. Look, Kenny Pickett, he wasn't completely terrible the other day, and it's hard to judge it, especially in the Hall of Fame game. But I think they need to see from Kenny Pickett. I think they need to see, a scoring drive or two. Is there competence there behind Bryce. If he plays with more of the regulars, how does he look? They need to see at least a drive from Kenny Pickett, that scoring drive. I think that instills some sort of confidence.
Yeah, and Bone, I mean, they just watched Haynes King resurrect a victory out of the jaws of defeat versus Kenny Pickett, who was just okay. I mean, who is the locker room going to galvanize around as a backup quarterback, as much as they can galvanize around a backup quarterback? The guy that just had a gutsy play to win the game, or the guy that is slightly more polished and has had a couple of years in the league? I want to ask you about the comments that Dave Canales made about Bryce Young, calling him bigger and stronger. What exactly does that mean? Is he getting jacked up like other quarterbacks are doing this year? Do you think packing on a few pounds of muscle is the right play for Bryce Young that's predicated on quickness?
Yeah, Bryce Young looked to be the same size when I saw him about a week and a half ago. I didn't really notice. He looks like a kid getting ready for the first day. But I know he tried to grow some sort of facial hair, so that happened. I don't know if you're going to see a bigger and more a bigger Bryce, but I think you're seeing a bigger Bryce in the sense of a guy that's growing in confidence, and the stature is growing in terms of leadership more so than actual looking bigger. Well, yesterday there was a fight at practice, and Bryce was involved, and you're starting to see his confidence grow, his leadership grow, and that's big. I mean, think about where he was a couple of years ago in those categories and where he is now. I think that might be what he's referring to, that you're seeing a more confident Bryce. So in the sense of that, you're seeing a Bryce that's standing up to people more. And that's huge for this team to have a confident Bryce Young. I think part of it too is when he came in from Alabama, one of his best attributes is, he's so smart. He gets to the line of scrimmage. He's got that, he's got that Peyton Manning-like sense of processing. But I think early on, he was almost overthinking to some degree, where he wasn't reacting as Alabama Bryce. He was just, he was processing, but he was also doing natural. He was making plays in that Patrick sense of making play out of nothing. I feel like now I'm starting to see the processing with the natural instincts coming together, and that's when you get the best of Bryce. Yeah, he's a smart guy, but when he's also not thinking too much and he's just reacting, that's when you're going to get a guy going to the next level.
It's interesting, Travis, when you talk about college football compared to the pro football, with camp going on in college, it's different. You don't have the preseason games. In the NFL, you have training camp and you have joint practices and you have the preseason games. How much more do you think we know, like with our job, y'all's job as well, what you do on a daily basis? Do you feel like the evaluation, when you start doing these quarterback lists and comparisons, do you feel as if it's much easier to do at the NFL level, even though you've still got to hit on guys and you still can be wrong in predictions, but just from this is the same sport standpoint, but goodness gracious, at the end of the day, in one sport, you're basically guessing what's going to happen. In the other, before the season starts, you get a pretty good look at the competition and what you have on your roster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think college sports in general right now, as you know, is a complete guessing game. I mean, look, we got fifth-year guys that are dropping out of the sky back to their schools or new schools. So yeah, when you get to the season, you don't know how they're going to gel. You don't have, they don't even play the spring games hardly anymore. I mean, some teams do, but it used to be a huge deal, spring football, the games, and now, that hardly they're doing anything. They're hardly doing anything in that sense anymore. So yeah, the NFL, at least you have continuity with the rosters. You have the preseason games and the joint sessions, where each team is now doing two. The Panthers will have Jacksonville next week and Houston after that. When you have the joint sessions and the games, you have a much better feel, not only for the roster, but how it's looking together. At college, you're right. It's almost like they're new teams every year, especially here in 2026.
Talking Carolina Panthers football here with Travis Hancock of the Mac and Bone Show, WFNZ in Charlotte. Today, in his availability, Xavier Legette said that he's been studying a lot of his own film for ways to correct some of the mistakes that he has been making. You know, practice is practice, but you can't always evaluate guys on practice film and practice reps. Is there any thought in your mind that Dave Canales might throw him out there in preseason games just to kind of send a little bit of a message that, hey, you are not undowngradable and that we need to get some closer to game reps on you?
Oh, yeah. We get, it's not about the body or looking the part as a wideout. He certainly has that. It's been as much of the intricacies and the nuances of the receiving position that he's kind of failed to get. It's been the basics. And I know that, it seems silly to think about, catching the football and keeping your feet in bounds, but he is, and I'm a South Carolina guy, so I root like hell for XL. So to watch him struggle the way he has the first couple of years, whether it's, a foot out of bounds here, a drop here, it's been pretty maddening because we know when he's at his best how good that guy can be. But I will say, yes, I do think he needs in-game reps in the preseason for those things. He's looked a lot better here in camp. He made a nice toe tapping play today. He's had a number of those in practice. So yeah, I think you're starting to see a little bit of the basics and that side come back. And much like I said with Bryce Young about putting it all together, we know that if you put his physical God-given gifts with the ability to play the wide receiver position, how good he can be, the sky's the limit. And as a Gamecock, we know that it did take a while in his career for him to fully blossom.
Hey, Travis, I want to bring you in on a conversation we had earlier in the show about the NFC South. The news today with the Falcons quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, going to start Friday for the Atlanta Falcons. I asked Diesel, he's a Panthers fan. I'll ask you the same thing. With the Falcons building their organization right now, the questions at quarterback, I guess a two-part question. Number one, as a Carolina Panthers fan, are you scared of that team right now, of that organization? And number two, do you have a problem with the way they're building that organization? A lot of Falcons people do.
No, I'm not scared of Atlanta at all right now. It feels like they're kind of going to be very similar to what we've seen them be a lot. Last year, they drafted James Pierce, they drafted Walker, and it looked like, they're going to be a lot more balanced on that side to go with their offense. They've always got offensive weapons. My entire life, Atlanta's had a team filled with offensive weapons. It's always been a balance issue. But then the unfortunate news of Charlotte's Jalen Walker going down for the season. Then there's the other news of Charlotte's James Pierce. His situation there, where it looks like he may be putting himself out for half a season. All of a sudden, a year ago, you go, wow, those Falcons edge rushers who played well last year as rookies, they are going to be a problem for a long time. Now you take them out of there, and obviously Bijan is great, but what are they beyond that? Because I don't think their defense will be very good. It's going to be giving up a lot of points. And then I don't think their quarterbacks, it's not exactly, Matt Ryan throwing to Julio Jones. Bijan is great. Drake London's really good. Kyle Pitts seemed to turn a corner last year. But I don't think you have fear of either quarterback, both in play and in their health. So, no, I think Atlanta in the last couple of months or a couple of weeks even, has really fallen behind the pack in the NFC South. Tampa Bay's organization has been really good. New Orleans somehow didn't go all the way under, and they're still kind of a factor. I don't think Atlanta is really right now, honestly, anywhere close to the other three teams in the NFC South, and I think that might be that way for a while.
Ted McMillan absolutely smoked Mike Jackson on a rep earlier today. He looked amazing. What would you say as he was the offensive rookie of the year last year? We know he's a great player already. How would you say he has the ability to, and has he taken a next step to make his game even better this year?
Yeah, you talk about the body of Bryce. He looks like even stronger with his hands. Because there was a couple plays where they got ripped away from him. Look, he had a really good rookie year, and there was still a lot of room to grow. I was pleasantly surprised that the players voted him already into the NFL top 100. And I think, as Jalen Coker, is here for a full season, he missed a lot of last year. I think, as Coker develops more and he's got a great connection with Bryce Young, that's only going to help T-Mac more. Last year, there was so much on T-Mac to start the year. There's also not really a reliable tight end option either for the Panthers. So last year, I think the defenses, if you notice that there were long stretches where they could just zone in on T-Mac fully, and then Coker got back, and all of a sudden by the end of the year, T-Mac started to really get it going again. I think he's a future multi-time Pro Bowler. I think he's going to be a 1,500-yard guy or more, whatever that means in this day and age. But I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl caliber guy. And I think as Bryce Young continues to develop more and takes more chances as a passer, that's another thing with Bryce. There needs to be more chances. I think he's only going to develop more and more. And they're talking about him playing in the slot more this year, which will be interesting because those crossing patterns with T-Mac, man, he gets the ball, he can go. So I think they're going to find different ways to get the ball in his hands this year.
Bone, always appreciate you, man. Great stuff as always. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, man. Anytime, man. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you as well. Travis Hancock, he's Bone of the Mac and Bone Show on WFNZ in Charlotte. That's two people we've asked now, including you. Panthers fans are not scared of the Atlanta Falcons. They're just not. They're not scared of them.
They got good pieces, but can a running back do it by himself? Can a questionable quarterback room reliably get it to the good wide receivers and tight ends that they have? I'm just not entirely sold.
Yeah, real quick before we run to a break, Chris Phillips texted us during that interview and said we would break the internet if we published our take earlier of ranking John Mateer ahead of Arch Manning, Diesel. I did joke with him and said, hey, we're horns down around here. I don't have anything against Arch at all. I think to Chris's point, going back to that list, Mateer hurt himself a lot last year with the interception numbers, but I just think outside of Arch having more touchdowns than Mateer did last year, obviously touchdowns are real important. I think Mateer's ceiling's there. Now, is Arch, does he have a great ceiling? Sure he does. I think he could be a really good quarterback, and he's got all kind of weapons at Texas. But I think when you talk about the interceptions, the injuries or the injury that Mateer had, maybe his statistical numbers aren't quite what Arch's were. And I think passing yards-wise, they were maybe a couple of 100 yards off. Not a lot of difference in the passing yards. Arch did have a good many more touchdowns than Mateer, but I don't know. There's just something, I guess, my explanation on that, Diesel, I feel like the ceiling with Mateer is high in the kind of athlete and player that he is. And we'll see if he can get those interceptions numbers down in 2026.
And what really matters most is the head-to-head. October 10th in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Both of those teams coming off of a bye. They'll split the stadium. The smell of funnel cakes will be in the air. I can't
That's
wait.
A fun environment, that Cotton Bowl. Like, that is – if you're not a fan of Oklahoma and Texas, you still gotta I think every college football fan should attend that game. I think it's one of those. It's that big of a deal. It shuts down the entire city, like the stadium, the old stadium. The mystique. It's just it doesn't matter how good the teams are. That is one of those that if you hadn't been, it's just an incredible college football environment.
Well, especially now that we know that the heat between Michigan and Ohio State's just not there anymore because Kyle Whittingham was like, nah, it's no big deal. I don't hate Ohio State.
Kind of like him a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like him. I like the Daily Wires as well. Diesel Hour headlines. That is next. lot happening in the sports world, a segment where we run through the headlines each and every day. It's our Daily Wires. The Atlanta Braves got back on track Tuesday, and man, what a good win. Defeated the Mets 4-0. Martin Perez pitched 6 scoreless innings in his start to earn the win. Ozzie Albies hit a solo home run in the 5th. Matt Olson was good. Also 2-run home run in the 8th. Atlanta now 72-48 on the season. The NL East lead is now up to 8.5 games. Fluctuating Diesel between 7.5 and 8.5. But anytime the Braves win, it's a good day. Tyler Mahle, is that how we decided to pronounce his name, Mahle?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
On the mound tonight for the Braves as the Braves have the Mets at 7:15. It looks like Maul, but it's not pronounced Maul. It's Mahle, still the new guy.
Hey, any game where you got Ozzie Albies going yard, when you got Matt Olson going yard, and, Austin Riley had warning track power. It's still good.
Yep.
Except for Austin Riley.
Hopefully Tyler Mahle can get it done tonight for the Bravos. Former North Carolina guard Seth Trimble, listen to this, has committed to Louisville. He told ESPN, giving the Cardinals another marquee piece for the 2026-2027 season. Trimble, who entered the transfer portal in the spring, had the door open to play next season following that Colorado District Court ruling that gave the 2020 class of high schoolers a 5th season of eligibility. So Seth Trimble leaving the Tar Heels to go to Louisville in conference. Are you kidding me? Staying in the conference. How about that?
It's terrible.
For Seth Trimble.
Terrible.
Yes, it is. How about this big news today out of the NBA, Diesel? Josh Kushner, Bob Iger to buy the Los Angeles Lakers for $12.5 billion with the B dollars. The Los Angeles Lakers are being sold for $12.5 billion.
That B stands for buttload of cash.
Yep, that is a record-breaking price. The businessmen were involved in the expansion process in Las Vegas, but a stunning turn. They pivoted and made an aggressive offer to buy the Lakers. My goodness, that is insane to me. Luka Doncic did tweet out earlier today that his goal is still to bring LA a championship and how awesome it is to play for the Lakers, yada, yada, yada. So crazy stuff there. That's a lot of money and new owners in LA. Also, NBA news today, Russell Westbrook hanging it up after 18 seasons in the NBA, announced his retirement on social media on Wednesday, Diesel. He said, sometimes you don't even know when you've already watched the end. You had to be there, and now it's over. And Russell Westbrook, after 18 seasons in the NBA, is hanging it up.
I know his career might be done, but his GIF will live on forever. You know the one, come on.
Man. Yeah, no doubt. He was a good player,
Yeah,
man. I mean, 18 years, that's a long time. Matt Hasselbeck took some nasty hits to the head during his 17-year NFL career, 4 years at Boston College, and a childhood full of sports. But the quarterback seems to have emerged from more than 2 decades of collisions relatively unscathed, enjoying middle adulthood with his wife and 3 children. The 50-year-old knows that some of his friends and former teammates. What is this Daily Wire? I'm confused on this. Did he have a? Did I put this on the run?
You did.
What does this even mean? I mean, I guess it's just because whatever's there, I copy. Did he have like a CT scan and he's good now? I'm not really sure the context behind this, but
we'll find out. We'll
dig into it more. Matt Hasselbeck alive, I guess. Breaking news. I don't know. That's weird. That's my mistake, I guess.
We'll get the latest here.
Chicago Bears safety Kobe Bryant will be out 4 to 6 months after undergoing knee surgery. That is a tough break. Coach Ben Johnson announced yesterday. Baltimore Ravens starting quarterback Nate Wiggins. Not good here for the Clemson Tigers, Diesel. Carted off the field an hour into practice yesterday, suffering a left leg injury. Testing showed that Wiggins thankfully suffered no structural damage. That's big news for Wiggins, obviously. Florida State will retire Sebastian Janikowski's. Sebastian Janikowski. Is that right?
That's right. Sebastian Janikowski.
Janikowski's number 38 jersey during its August 29th season opener against New Mexico.
That shows how young you are, Cole, because Sebastian Janikowski was incredible as a kicker.
Yeah. Sorry, Sebastian. Sorry, buddy.
God.
Yeah, interesting there. Let's see. Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy says he believes Steph Curry is back on track to remain with the Warriors. Okay, no new news there. Last one for you. Rory McIlroy said Wednesday that he's confident he'll reach a compromise with the PGA Tour to fill the minimum qualification of playing in 15 events this season to maintain his dual membership. He plans to play in 6 more global tournaments after the Tour Championship. There probably won't be time in a schedule to play an additional PGA Tour event this fall, McIlroy tells the PGA. And those are your daily wires. The Buzz.
There you go. Still trying to figure out what's going on with this Matt Hasselbeck story.
Where did that even come from?
He's doing, I don't know, you dropped it on
that
the
is
rundown.
weird.
It's like the second half of the story got cut off.
Maybe it did.
Basically, he is volunteering for a groundbreaking Boston University study, aimed at finding a way to diagnose CTE while a person is still alive.
He is volunteering his brain.
He's going to do it while he's alive.
For CTE research in hopes of finding a diagnosis.
They're going to probe Matt Hasselbeck.
Wow. Okay, so there's the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second half of the story really makes it, doesn't it? Yeah, first act, second act. Whoa, that's crazy. Cole, you know how they say 78% of NFL players go broke within 2 years of exiting the league?
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe we're turning a corner on that stat. Maybe we're going to improve that because ESPN interviewed a whole bunch of first-round draft picks, and they asked them, hey, what are you going to spend your first NFL paycheck on? I think the answers will astound you. That's next. Well, you heard me with the stat before we went off the break. 78% of pro athletes go broke or are in severe financial distress within 2 years of exiting their league. You cut off the paychecks, all of a sudden, these guys ain't got nothing.
That's keyword after exiting the league.
After
right?
exiting the league. But that is, of course, Cole, knowing that however many years they were in the league, they made terrible financial choices that did not set them up for the future.
I didn't realize the percentage was that high.
It's bad. It's really bad.
What was that number again?
78%.
Wow.
78%. The question for you, though, Cole, is if I just plopped you on an NFL roster, congratulations, you are now 6'3", 275 pounds, or 250. You're playing tight end for the Carolina Panthers as a rookie. What would you spend your first paycheck on?
How big's the paycheck?
I don't know. Pretty good. I would assume it's pretty good. You know, it's not like one of our paychecks.
Yeah, sometimes I don't even know if our paychecks hit. Really, I don't. I really don't. That's a good question. What I would spend it on first. I think it, it depends on the situation, right? I'm going to get real technical here. It depends on the amount of money. It depends on the situation. If it were me, like the very first thing, if I'll give you a couple, I know this isn't the one answer you want, but I'm going to just tell you how I think. Mm-hmm. If I go into the NFL and I have any friends or family, like close friends or family, or myself was like serious debt. Yeah. That's going to be number one. Paying off any debt.
How good of a friend does someone have to be to Cole Bryson to get them to pay off
real good
his debt?
Real good.
Close.
Yeah, real good friend.
Would you pay off my debt?
Yeah, I'd pay off your debt.
Oh, good.
Yeah, if I had that kind of money, yeah, I'd pay off your debt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because hopefully your debt doesn't compare to what a NFL salary or a NFL paycheck is, right?
One would hope.
So that's number one.
Yeah.
But then number two, would
you buy something fun for yourself with the first paycheck? Or
I would like to think that I did not, and that I would like to think that I was like responsible with it and put it up, invested it, right? I would like to think that. But I'll be honest with you, maybe a piece of land.
Piece of land.
Yeah.
Well, that's an investment right there. Now you own a piece of land.
I think land
almost always appreciates unless you just buy like a swamp or something. But
they go land.
So I'm interested in how these first round picks answered this question, Cole. And I think it's changed dramatically over the last 6 or 7 years, as most of these guys now have money in their bank accounts. They're getting NIL coming out of college. It's not like they've been broke, rich. You know, they've been getting these paychecks for a while now. They got cash coming in. They've been able to help some of the people that they want to help. They've been able to set themselves up a little bit for the future. Some of them are smart and they're investing it already. But this is, I would tell you, Cole, that I think this is pretty dang heartwarming that out of all the players that they interviewed and asked this question of, a very large chunk of them said, I'm not really going to buy anything.
That's good.
I already got money. I'm not really going to buy anything. I'm just going to live normally right now. Jeremiah Love, who's now with the Cardinals, said this. Arvell Reese, he was the 5th round pick to the Giants. He said the same thing. Now, not everybody is super smart with their money, because Malachi Lawrence, edge rusher who went to your Dallas Cowboys.
Don't start.
He just bought, and this is a terrible financial decision, he just bought a brand new Ram TRX with his money. But he bought that with his NIL money. He didn't buy this with his first NFL paycheck. I don't know if you know this, Cole. Ram TRXs are like stupid expensive, and they lose like 30% of their value the moment you drive them off the lot.
Number one reason why it's a horrible decision is what person in their right mind would ever think, I'd like to buy a Dodge Ram. The ugliest truck.
What do you mean?
Known to mankind.
My dad's got a Dodge Ram.
That's the ugliest
That's
truck.
not a new Dodge Ram. It's like one body style ago.
There is no truck you could plop on this earth that's uglier than a Dodge Ram. There's just not. A Dodge Ram, when you look up the definition of ugly in the dictionary, a Dodge Ram is right there. Bam. It's ugly. So, yeah, Malachi Lawrence, shame on him for not being why would you not buy a Ford, a Raptor or something? I mean,
because you don't want to have lifter issues within the first 5,000 miles. That's why you don't buy a Ford.
No, they fixed all their issues. They fixed them. I mean, that is just horrific. Buy a Dodge Ram after you make an NFL. You said he spent his NIL. Whatever.
He spent his NIL money on that.
Doesn't matter. And what was the make? I'm Googling it.
Dodge Ram TRX. I'm putting it on the stream right now. You're telling me wrong one. Let's see. Let's put that one on the screen. You're telling me that's an ugly truck?
That's a hideous truck.
What do you mean it's a hideous truck?
That thing
What's
is
wrong
so
with
ugly.
That truck?
It's just ugly. I don't like the way the front ends look on Dodge Rams. The cab, nah. It's just bad. I mean, it is bad. The only way you could make a Dodge Ram look better is to just absolutely bomb it. I mean, just
trash it.
I mean, just blow it up.
Get rid of it.
Blow it up. I mean, that's the only way it looks better.
So
I don't know why I've always had a thing with Dodge Rams. They're so ugly.
He spent his money on a Dodge Ram. That was his NIL money. Again, some of them are buying homes. They're sprucing up their apartments, buying a couple of little things. They're not really going crazy with that first bit of money. This is when it gets weird, though, Cole. Here's really interesting. Takario Davis, cornerback who's now with the Bengals, made himself a terrible decision. And with his first NFL check, he bought a $59,000 Rolex. $59,000 Rolex right out of the gate. Bad decision.
What is my brain? What does a $59,000 Rolex look like? I mean, that is.
I mean, you're talking about walking around with a base model Dodge Ram on your wrist.
That is, and I know Rolexes go for a lot more than $59,000, right? I'm not a watch guy. I'm not a Rolex guy, of course. I mean, you know that, but that's insane to me. 60 grand.
So I haven't worn a watch made of metal since I was in like high school. I never had some like cheap watch, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm rocking an Apple Watch. I decided like 6 months ago, year ago, like I'm just going to go online because I had no idea what this might cost. I went and said, what is like a secondhand aftermarket Rolex going for? Because I was like, maybe one of these days I might splurge. No, not even close. I don't have any.
A radio show host said, "I'm going to splurge on a Rolex."
Well, I just thought like there's got to be a low end Rolex, and then you put that on the secondary or the third tier market.
Yeah,
because you listen to some radio shows and they're advertising. I'm not even close to being able to afford it.
There's one on eBay right now for $6,900, $6,300. What about that? Is that good with you?
No, I'm not going to spend
my thing is like, here's my thing on the whole Rolex thing. I get that some people are addicted to watches. Some people are addicted to tattoos. They spend their money on tattoos. Some people are addicted to fishing and hunting like I am. But to think that somebody out there, and I know if you're mega rich, $6 grand's nothing. But to think an average Joe out there would just say, you know what? I got some money sitting around. Yeah, $7 grand. Let's just go spend it. That's fine. If you're going to, I mean, like I've spent $7 grand before, but I would never think I'm going to go spend it on something that just sits on my wrist and tells time when I can look at a million different devices and tell time.
But that's why you spend the money on the secondhand watch. You let somebody else, some other idiot, take the financial hit on the first time around.
It's just insane.
Because how much farther can it depreciate from there?
I wonder, let me ask you this real quick. Yeah. Which of our Tolos do you think have the nicest watch?
The nicest watch?
The nicest watch. And I don't mean to take this down a rabbit hole, but I wonder, is there a Tolo out there that owns a Rolex?
My first thought is Dan B.
Oh, is Dan B? Is he
Dan
mega
B's
rich?
A pilot. I've been to Dan's house. He's got a nice house.
Mega rich Dan B?
I feel like Dan probably has, even though it may not be the most expensive, flashiest watch, I feel like he's probably got the best quality timepiece because as a pilot, you have to be super accurate on your time.
You know, right? Dan B, he's one of those that says he's a pilot, but I've never seen Dan B at work, so I don't believe he's a pilot. I've never seen him up in the air.
Oh, well, he's already debunked that. He says, no way.
When I've gotten on planes, I've never seen Dan B, so I don't know. I've never seen him. I don't know why. I mean, I should see him up in the air, right, if he's a pilot, right? He says, don't wear a watch at all since college. Zach Breeze on Facebook says, I don't know what that means.
Are you saying like we need to pay attention to you, Zach? Are you saying that you have the most expensive watch?
He comments PSHHHHHHH. I don't know what that means, Zach.
Yeah.
Is that like Mitchell says, why is a Dodge Ram so loud? It's just it's like I can't use that joke because that's not an on-air joke. It's like a kid that wants attention. They've got to be loud, and sometimes that kid's really ugly as well, and they can't fit into a friend group, and they're loud and they're ugly, and they just try to fit in. That's a Dodge Ram. I mean, that's exactly what a Dodge Ram is.
Is the Dodge Ram the equivalent of a Harley that's super loud?
See, I like Harleys. I like Harley. I'm not going through a midlife crisis, but I do like Harleys. Yeah, I'm a Harley. I like them.
My neighbor across the street rides a Harley, and he is a D-bag. So I would never call someone who listens to this show who may have a Harley a D-bag. I'm just saying the only person that I know personally that has one is a D-bag.
Well, you shouldn't cast aspersions.
I know. I'm just it's a point of reference. That's my only point of reference. But again, Cole, a $59,000 Rolex is not the weirdest thing that any of these guys say they want to buy, because Caleb Banks, defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, says he is researching how to buy a koala. He's already got, according to him, a handful of exotic snakes. He's a couple of ball pythons, which the ESPN person interviewing doesn't have a clue, because a ball python is not an exotic snake. You can literally go across the street to PetSmart and get a ball python. That's no big deal. But he says he's added a couple of exotic snakes to his collection. He's added a couple of exotic tarantulas to his collection, and he's researching how to buy a koala.
That's weird, isn't it? That's just weird. And I know, I'm not going to cast aspersions on people who own snakes, because you might reach over and hit me, but I don't know. A koala bear? What
They're not bears.
Oh, they're not?
They're not bears. They're marsupials.
See, I don't know what that means.
They have the pouch. Like a kangaroo. Kangaroo has a pouch. That's a marsupial.
A marsupial.
Yeah.
They're ugly too. They're ugly. Koalas, not a really.
Koalas are stoners.
No.
They eat the eucalyptus leaves up in the trees, and they get high off of it.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what he wants to buy. And how much does a koala cost?
You know what? Let's Google it right now. How much?
I don't feel like a koala would cost that much money, does it?
You cannot buy a live koala as a pet.
Why is that?
Because they are protected wild animals, making their sale strictly illegal worldwide.
You got to get them illegally. You got to get a koala off the black koala market.
Have you never seen Tiger? What was it? Tiger
King.
King? Yeah. You can get anything you want in this country.
That's weird. And who was this that wanted what NFL player was it?
Caleb Banks. Caleb Banks.
I don't know what you do with a koala.
You build an enclosure in your house.
That's weird there. I thought the watch one was bad, but that one's really bad.
Don't get a koala. Get a capuchin. Like the little ones.
I don't know what that is either.
Did you ever watch Ace Ventura? The little monkey that runs around after Ace Ventura? That's a capuchin. They're fun. Yeah. They're sweet. They're violent sometimes. They can get violent. But
that's a weird one, though. And again, talking about doing the right thing financially. What kind of return? I guess if you have just like FU money, it doesn't matter. But what kind of return do you get? I've gotten older. When I was early 20s, I used to spend money on stupid stuff. I used to buy boats and trucks and stuff. But now I've gotten a lot better. What kind of return are you going to get on a koala? Not a koala bear, but a koala.
Yeah,
whatever
marsupial. Do they depreciate? Does a koala depreciate? Keith and TR says a koala really shouldn't be that bad. You can buy a tiger for like $5,000.
Yeah, I went to high school with a guy who owned a tiger.
Really?
Yeah, I had it in the backyard.
No way.
Yeah, really.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I promise.
No, you didn't.
I'll tell you his name off
the air. Did you ever see the tiger?
I saw pictures. Yeah.
Well, then I wouldn't believe that he had a tiger.
Yeah. Cocky Jake 87. This says the show is going off the rails already. Well, that's the point. That's the point of the segment. It's not off the rails. It's the topic. I mean, the financial horror stories with NFL rookies, and it's not our fault that they're
stupid most of the time.
Purchases are just insane. Is that the most insane, the koala?
Yeah, he said he tried. Now, this is not crazy. Like Carnell Tate says he bought a Star Wars Lego Ultimate Collector series. But that can't be that expensive.
Keith and TR got the text of the day in. Got to have special qualifications for that.
Way to go, Keith.
That's good, Keith. I like that. Really nicely done there.
Wait, was your friend the guy related to the guy in TR that had a tiger?
Nah,
because there was a guy in TR. Keith, you may know this, the story at least. He had I don't know if it was a Dodge, but he had a pickup with a huge cage built into the back of it, like welded steel cage. And he would sometimes drive around TR with his Tiger in the back.
So I Googled, just kind of keeping the topic on the show on topic here. I Googled what the worst things NFL players have ever spent money on. So there's a Bleacher Report article that talks about this. This is good stuff here. Bryant McKinney's bar tab one time in the NFL. He's an offensive lineman, by the way. In the nightclub, 15 bottles of champagne. This was during the NFL lockout. 15 bottles of champagne was featured on this bar tab at the nightclub. And the tab for him alone was $100K.
Dear God.
$100,000 for his bar tab. So they bring you the check and it says $100,000.
I'm sure the tip 20%.
Oh,
$120,000. Look.
Also, let me throw this one at you. Chad Ochocinco bought a semi truck.
Cool.
Wide receiver, $100,000 semi truck.
Cool.
What's the
Did he
point?
bling it out a little bit?
What's the point? Vince Young bought a whole flight one time.
At the very least. And this is for all Tolos who have kids that are athletes. If you're going to buy something with your first check, buy something that has at least some resale value. That should be the first day financial literacy stuff for these players. Stop blowing triple, quadruple, six figures on a one-night experience that you can't get back.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I said that I try to be more financially responsible, but I'm also the one that spends like thousands of dollars on deer corn every year too to feed deer.
And boats are a money pit. Everybody knows
boats are a money pit. How about this one? Let me throw this one at you. Darnell Dockett bought a pet alligator with his first paycheck. Pet alligator. I
have had multiple snakes. So I have owned exotic pets. I still own one snake. I will never own anything that could literally kill me. That's ridiculous.
But a snake could
except
kill
a
you,
Dodge Ram.
Couldn't a snake kill you though?
Not my snake.
Michael Vick Diesel paid $85,000 for a fish pond.
Okay.
That's a lot of money for a fish pond. Chad Ochocinco also got a pet tiger. I mean, that's insane.
Mike Tyson had a tiger.
How about this? Terrell Owens invested $2 million into an Alabama electronic bingo casino, which was raided and shut down shortly after due to state legality issues. So that one, I don't know. That Terrell Owens $2 million might be at the top of the list.
Well, Rick spent all that money getting cockroach racing off the mat. You know that.
Adam with a good text on the Joy Law Firm text line. Tom Brady bought part of the Raiders. Pretty bad return on that one, I assume. That's pretty good. Pretty funny. I don't know.
Well done, Keith.
2 nominations. That was Adam. 2 nominations there for text of the day so far. That's pretty good. Cocky for a reason. He's texting. I guess he can't call anymore. He says, a tiger for $5,000. I own a bunch of tigers and they didn't cost me $5,000. Gamecock joke. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I think that's what that. I'll give him credit.
Keith and TR says you could actually sit on my aunt and uncle's back porch and hear the tiger through the woods behind their house in TR.
That's got to be scary as hell. This thought that at any time, like, how do they have like a Jurassic Park T-Rex fence? Like, how do they keep this fence or how do they keep this tiger inside the fence?
I guess it's just these hobbies, like these hobbies of people are what get them in trouble.
But how does a tiger? That's not a hobby.
Yeah.
That's just a ridiculous flex that you then have to pay for an extremely large and expensive enclosure. Assuming you're going to pay for extremely expensive vet care to keep a tiger alive and the food. That's just burning cash.
It's insane. It really is. I mean, I didn't know this list. I mean, these lists that are out there. I mean, there are all kind of outlandish things that these NFL players have spent money on. I mean, it's crazy. And that number, again, if you just tune in, 78%?
78%. Are in
78%
go broke or in financial distress within 2 years.
After exiting the league.
Yeah.
And that's tough. That's tough. You don't want to ever make fun, but at the same time, man, God almighty, Diesel, you have all that money and you can't figure out a way to keep have you ever heard of investing? And that's the kicker right there. Like these people, these NFL players who are making all this money, let's take some of the blame off of them, Diesel. At what point in their life were these players taught financial responsibility? At what point in these players' life were these players, Diesel, taught how to manage money and how to invest and how to save? I mean, I'm not taking up for the players. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying a lot of these players, I would imagine, when you get in the NFL or the NBA, you go into that situation with, I would assume here, very little history of being taught how to be financially responsible.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Well, and the coaches say all the time, like we touch on financial literacy when we're talking to our team. We tell them to take care of their money, but hey, there are people out there who have never had a single dime to rub against another dime. They don't have two nickels to rub together. So to them, that first big paycheck is, oh my God, I'm going to go nuts. Yeah. And you can't tell them to be careful with their money. Not everybody is as smart as Jeremiah Love, who says, I'm not going to touch the money.
It's good.
I'm going to put it away.
Yeah.
And live like I've been doing. He says he is going to put his paychecks in, live off of his endorsement money, and put his paychecks into savings and investments.
I love that. I do love that. That's the thing. Investing's not like fun. Like Diesel, I don't enjoy investing. We invest into our retirement, but I also invest into another account. It's not fun. It's not like you don't reap the benefits of it immediately, but yeah, I can see why it's tough for a lot of these players.
Yeah, it's hard to put somebody in that situation, but like I said, I think this might be one of the benefits of NIL in that these athletes are now getting all this money for the first time while under coach supervision, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slightly more tightly controlled situation than it is going off into the NFL. Now your job is to show up to work every day instead of staying on campus.
Keith in TR says, they're lucky. I'm still in my profession and still in financial distress. I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. Creed in Cowpens wants to get on the conversation. What's up, Creed?
Hey, this kind of hits home. I sure don't want to give a name away, but there was a very successful football player here in, let's say, the Spartanburg area about 20 years ago that was successful for about, let's say, 7 or 8 years, made a lot of money. And the only thing I know that they did, I heard a lot of stories about the waste of the money. The only thing I know they did that was good is they built their mama a pretty good house. Mama stayed in the very poor neighborhood that they grew up in. This poor neighborhood, it's all pitiful little houses. And here's this one nice brick house with a double garage that's pretty nice. And then, of course, what happened was about 4 years after being on the NFL, he had to move back in with his mama.
Oh. And what, you don't have to say the name. You don't have to say the player. Could you tell us what high school?
Well, let's don't do that. That would give it away for dang sure.
Okay.
But very successful. For about 8 years. We're talking about player of the week and stuff. Very successful.
Yeah.
And a great guy, but just, didn't know what to do with the money.
Creed, text us in. We're not going to say the name. Text us so we can look in. I just want to know who it is. You don't have to say it over the air, though.
Yeah.
Thanks, Creed.
That.
Appreciate you, man. That's sad. You have a lot of sad stories. And that, again, not making fun of them or picking fun, but it's just, it's one of those things, man. It's just,
learn how to say no. Money. That's the number one thing you got to do is you got to learn how to say no. When everybody asks you for this or asks you for that, or can you cover this tab, or when we go out, can I come with you, and runs up a huge bar tab, say never again.
People don't know how to say no.
Never again.
That's just, that's a problem for everybody. They don't know how to say no. Diesel, we do know how to say yes to a conversation that we're going to continue from yesterday's show. Mm-hmm. We talked, it was a flawed Tuesday. Remember that? We talked about Dabo Sweeney's flaws, Shane Beamer's flaws as head coach. We're going to flip the script in this very next segment. That's next. critical, some would say, of Shane Beamer and Dabo Sweeney on a flawed Tuesday. It's just what we do. We create content, right? But today we're going to be less critical. We're going to be actually the opposite. We're going to be positive because, Diesel, we are flipping the script from yesterday. And on this positive Wednesday, I can't really get the alliteration like I did yesterday with a Tuesday. I can't think of a word other than a positive Wednesday. I know the letters are different. Help me out here. Help me out here. What? Wonderful Wednesday. Wow. There we go. Wonderful Wednesday instead of a, I don't know. Wonderful Wednesday is good enough. Here's what we're doing. On a flawed Tuesday, yesterday we talked about some flaws of Dabo and Shane Beamer. But today, I want to know from you, Diesel, and the Gamecock fans and the Clemson fans out there, 844-326-3663. We're done with the flaws. No more flaws, okay? Positivity only in this very segment. And again, we want to hear from you. The Joy Law Firm text line is open. Phone lines are open as well. What do you think each coach is doing the best at right now? And I know Clemson fans may say, well, Shane Beamer's not doing anything good, right? There's nothing to be positive about. What do you think each coach, his biggest positive is right now, Diesel? We'll start with Shane Beamer. Since we started with Shane Beamer yesterday, his biggest positive trait, the best positive thing that this coach is doing for the program right now. Where does your mind go first when I ask you that question? And don't say anything about kicking coolers or anything like that.
It's a hell of a punter.
Don't do that. Where's your mind go?
Without just trying to do the opposite of what we said are his flaws. Yesterday we said his flaw was that he hasn't had the ability to hire quality coordinators.
Yeah.
I mean, he has kept trying. He's kept sticking to it as far as, realizing it's not working and making a change. I will say this, he is a phenomenal recruiter. And I don't know what the conversations are like, because I know that South Carolina is not spending on the level that the Alabamas and the Floridas and the Miamis of the world are. Still, he's able to land 4- and 5-star guys. So his personality, his level of care for the players that he's bringing into his program is clearly on display in these recruiting meetings with these families.
Yeah, I think that goes into player relationships and the culture. I would say culture would be my answer, where I'd go first. I think at South Carolina, and I don't mean to take a dig here at Gamecocks or anything like that, but at South Carolina, building a winning culture is tough. You're going into a place in Columbia where South Carolina has never really had a long period of success when it comes to winning. Steve Spurrier had back-to-back-to-back 11-win seasons, and outside of that, that's the best the program's ever been. They've never won an SEC championship. They've played for one. They haven't been good when you talk about the dominance of being at the top of your sport in your conference. So I think when you talk about Diesel building a culture, I think South Carolina is a tough place to do that. Now, you talked about the Miamis of the world, Ohio States of they've got the money to spend, right? South Carolina, going back to your money conversation, they don't always have the money. Sometimes they do. They can win a lot of those battles, but I just think he's done a really good job, Beamer has, at creating a culture. Some may call it smoke and mirrors, and that's fine. But creating a culture that's good enough for the recruits, back to your point, to buy into, to create that culture and synergy with your players and your coaching staff, to get guys like Sean Elliott, Mike Furry, Kendall Briles to buy in. I think he's done a really good job in that regard, especially for it being in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, and the flip side of being able to get him on campus has been able to keep him on campus. I mean,
kept LaNorris.
You kept LaNorris. You kept Nick Harbor. You kept Mazio Bennett. You're keeping guys around that can win individual matchups. Do you have enough of those guys? Remains to be seen. But I give him a lot of credit for, Dabo talks about rewarding the guys that have stayed around and the guys that have been loyal. Maybe there's elements of that going on in the South Carolina program that Shane just doesn't make it a point that like that's the thing that I'm going to keep bringing up. But all of those guys could have had opportunities to move on to other programs, and they've been starters in other programs.
You mentioned Mazio Bennett.
Yeah.
Who is that? Shane Barrett didn't know. Shane Barrett said, I never heard of Mazio. And you know what? I'm going to have to get on to Shane Barrett if he's still listening or watching. We're going to have to get Shane Barrett's high school football. I mean, Mazio Bennett played right here at Greenville High School. He was a Red Raider right here from the upside. We talked about Mazio Bennett, Diesel, on this show. I mean, not this show, but on this station. Had him on the Saturday Scramble. Really good player. I think Mazio Bennett could have a good year. I do. Not to get off on a tangent there, but I think he could have a good year if Nick Harbor does as well. I think the recruiting's so important. Obviously, when you talk about the culture feeding into the recruiting aspect of it, I think Beamer's done a tremendous job in that aspect. Teixeter gets in and says recruiting with like six exclamation points behind it. And I think so too. Like, I think that's been one of his biggest positives. You said it. He's a heck of a recruiter.
Yeah. You brought up the money thing in the sense like they're winning some of these battles against good programs. They just don't have the money. It doesn't seem as if they have the money to win with enough of these battles.
Well, you got to win more battles.
Yeah, you can win a few, and that's great. You have good skill players, and everybody respects your skill players. I mean, look how many wide receivers South Carolina keeps putting into the NFL. But you got to win enough of those battles. And going back to how we were saying the Falcons are building their team, you got to be able to build win those battles in the trenches as well. And that has not been the strong suit at all. Identifying quality offensive and defensive line talent.
I mean, it feels like he's a few things here, a few things there away from having this team on a playoff cusp, just like he did a couple of years ago. You know, if Beamer can hit on these assistant coach hires, I think you're looking at a capable playoff team in the next couple of years. Obviously, LaNorris would like to be a part of that. I don't know if that happens this year or not. All right, let's flip the script now and go to Clemson. We talked about Dabo's biggest flaw yesterday. You and I had two different flaws for Dabo. I went with Diesel. His current flaw is how he continues to sacrifice the opener. I think, 1-5, 1-4 now in season openers. We know they hadn't been good. Clemson hasn't in season opener. That was his biggest flaw. They lost to Duke, Georgia, LSU, a couple more in there. But now, what do we think? And this is different because if we would have asked this question 10 years ago, you could have just listed off all of Dabo's most positive attributes. He was winning national championships, right?
Yeah.
10 years later, 2026, from that 2016 national championship appearance, boy, hadn't it been a long time. What is Dabo Swinney's biggest or best positive attribute? Tolos at 844-326-3663. Diesel, where does your mind go first when it comes to Dabo and his best positive attribute?
What's that saying the athletes use a lot of times? You got to have the memory of a goldfish.
Yeah.
Dabo has the ability to flush it and move on and not think about it down the road. Like he doesn't seem to let anybody live rent-free in his head after the fact. You know, you lose a ball game early in the season, boom, you move on. I don't know that that's necessarily the case with Shane being a little more emotional as he is. I think Dabo does a good job of flushing and moving forward. Now, that is a very narrow thing to look at, right? Because the last couple of years, it has not borne the fruit of more wins, bigger wins, deep playoff runs. So it feels weird to say that we're looking for like that needle in the haystack of what we would say are positive attributes.
And again, like I said, 10 years later now, there are going to be less positive attributes just because they're not winning as much. You kind of hinted at it there. Like they're not winning as much. Fans are more critical. Tyler and Spartanburg's more critical, right? And you look at what he's doing well. I mean, like this is why I think the Dabo conversation is fun. It's a little bit difficult to have this conversation when they're coming off of 6 and 7. Is that right? 6 and whatever they went last year, 7 and 6 year. It's a little bit more difficult because those are very disappointing.
Yeah,
I do agree with what you said though, in the sense of him being able to stay grounded Like, I think that's a big part of it as well. You don't want an emotional kind of guy just always flustered by something. So I'm with you on that. I would say, though, if I would right now, the one thing I look at as Dabo's most positive attribute. This is hard. But I would probably say it's his ability, Diesel, to stay kind of going back to what you said, to stay grounded even after a tough season. And bear with me here, like last year was really bad. I think Dabo Swinney and Clemson, whether you think this is the right way to do things or the wrong way, I think Dabo and Clemson could have made a decision last year or the year before to completely like about face and go off script and do complete opposite of what Clemson has done.
Yeah.
I guess staying true and loyal to what he believes in, I would say is his most positive attribute. Now, if that pays off, that's a different conversation, right? I don't know. But I think and this ties into what you said too, his memory of a goldfish, his ability to not waver. I think that's his biggest positive attribute because he just doesn't care. He doesn't care. And while the college football world goes right, he's okay with going left. Now he's veered off right a little bit more here lately, right?
Yeah.
I'd say that's number one for me.
I
For
think
Dabo.
a good way to put that would be small corrections rather than large sweeping change, which, you know, there are some Clemson fans, and those of you who feel this way are completely justified to say, hey, we gotta get on board 100% with the portal. We gotta have somebody in there who will be a shark, who will compete, who will cheat a little bit, you know, the way that some coaches do, tamper the way that some coaches do. There are some who would say, we don't care about the soul of the program anymore. All we want to do is win.
Just win.
But there are others.
A lot of younger fans think
there
that
are
way.
a lot of fans who would feel betrayed.
Yeah.
And they would feel that their program has been betrayed if the program were to go 100% in that direction, which, you know, kind of for the sake of a thought experiment here, if Dabo Swinney left, you couldn't hire a Pete Golding. You couldn't hire a Lane Kiffin because it would be such a cultural departure.
Had to be Jamie Chadwell
from where you were. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, to me, I would say it's the small correction that, hey, I'm going to do some of the things that I need to do. I want to do them my way and not go knee-jerk the opposite direction just to make some people happy. Because once you go there, Cole, it is so much harder to pull it back.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that, I'll tell you this, not to get off on another tangent, that's why whenever Dabo does leave, it's going to be one of the more difficult, intriguing job searches that I can recall in a long time.
How many more Boy Scouts are out there?
Well, if they want to continue like that exact Dabo mindset, frame of mind, cold, like if they want to replicate that, how do they find that in today's modern college football? That is going to be a heck of a coaching search.
Here's how you elevate Chad Morris to head coach. You elevate CJ Spiller to head coach to make sure that things are, you know, it honestly feels a little bit like we could be heading for a Dabo naming his successor, like coach in waiting. You know, Dabo might want to make sure that the program continues on in his image, even if he's not there running the program day to day.
And I hope that we're on the radio when that happens, because it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about that. I don't know when that happens, if it's a year or 7 years, 8 years from now. I don't know.
It's oddly specific. What kind of magic 8-ball do you have?
I'm just saying, like, I don't know when that day comes. I would love to be doing local radio still when that day comes. I would, because that is going to be a weird job search. Now, they're still going to go, I mean, you still want to go get the best of the best, but if they're trying to still fit that criteria, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, Diesel. But there you are. There you have it. If you say we're too negative, we made our show a little bit more positive on this Wednesday.
Yeah. Things are not going positively, though, Cole, for this former Clemson quarterback who is struggling in camp. My question for you and for the Tolos, what should happen with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland? I mean, what should the strategy be? Do they have to go all in with him this year, give him one full ride? We'll talk about it to close out the 5 o'clock hour next.
Upstate.
Deshaun Watson splitting reps with Shedeur Sanders. Cole, Dylan Gabriel kind of waiting in the wings. Apparently, he's looking pretty good in his reps. Deshaun, not so much. He has thrown, if you look at the reports, 9 picks in the last 12 practices.
Ooh.
Like, I know he hadn't been on the field since, the 1980s or whatever. But if you are Todd Monken, do you feel like you have to throw Deshaun Watson to the Wolves this year, give him the full season and say, you know what, if it doesn't work, we're still right here in the same place. And we finally have an answer to the riddle of what happens if we spend all this money, go all in on Deshaun Watson.
Well, it kind of feels like the conversation you and I had earlier in the show about NFL players that are blowing money. It feels the same in this situation because it's like, okay, you buy something, spend all kind of money on it, and you have not gotten that return on that investment, and you are just banging your head against the wall, banging it. Nothing's changing, right? And again, it's camp, the interceptions. I mean, maybe it doesn't translate into the season, but who knows? I mean, to answer your question, though, like at what point, and this is hard financially in Cleveland's situation, at what point do you just rip the Band-Aid off?
Feels like buying a high-end sports car and then it breaks down before you even get it out on the road. And now you have to figure out how to spend money on it and get it back out there.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, we make fun of the Browns all the time, and for most of the things that they've done, they are to blame. But like on this one, maybe they shouldn't have given him that contract. But think about it: you drafted Deshaun, or you got Deshaun Watson out of college and thought, we have hit the jackpot. Like Deshaun Watson, the best player in Clemson football history, is coming to our like we're getting out of this, and it's just been so backwards and so bad. But
this was all post-injury and post-scandal.
Endings. Yeah.
Yes.
It's tough. I mean, I don't know that there's an answer because of what your financial situation is. So it just feels like that. Once again, Cleveland's in a lose-lose situation, doesn't it?
How much begging can you do to get Deshaun Watson to agree to take less money so you can afford to move on more quickly?
I don't know that he would.
I know. Why would he?
He's if he's handled his money right, he's a filthy rich man. I can tell you that, right? Filthy rich. But It's just one of those situations, man. I don't know that there's a great outcome for Deshaun or Cleveland. I don't know that there is.
I'm curious to know how much longer he has on his contract. Does he have another couple of years after this season? This is his last year. Last year. I'd say give him the season and then move on.
It's tough.
Just don't even sign another contract because the moment you do, he's going to get hurt again.
Yeah, could be. Let's get back into the conversation. I think the hot topic on the show today is Josh Pate's quarterback list out of the SEC. Let's get back into that next.